reminder, you only get 5 minutes of practice on your starting lane. So when you do move into your second and additional beyond that, you do not get 5 minutes of practice before every game. So just on your starting lane. Please fill out the score sheets. The white copy will be turned into us in the tournament office. You can keep the yellow one for yourself. All right, we do have some no-shows, so that means we're going to practice to get here. And you guys are all set. You're going to be going out for 5 minutes of practice. Good luck and good bowling.
practice is over, please push your check marks on your scoring console to begin scoring. Good luck in high school.
All right, everybody. Wow, that was a quick turnaround. Thanks to those of you joining us. On YouTube. And thanks to everybody now joining us on PBA's League Bowler Certification Facebook page. This is the 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin squad of the PBA League Bowler Certification National Championships. Opening weekend here at Bolero Wauwatosa. I'm $2 Phil Brylo. Thanks for joining us. And if there's a particular player that you're following, if you look down in the description of your video on YouTube, for those of you watching us there, you see all the pairs that are in play. So if you want to see, let's say, your favorite players on 65 and 66 to start right now, you can click on that link. It'll open a new tab for you. Or actually, it'll just go to that pair. My apologies. It won't open up a new tab. But it'll go to that pair. Or you can right-click on it and open up a new tab as well. Because that's the best thing to do right now. Keep two tabs open. Because here in our main feed, in a little while, we're going to have a special guest in the booth. And if you're a PBA fan for decades, like I've been, you're going to enjoy a little later this squad when we have PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke. That's right. Duke is in the house. And he'll be here talking to me in the booth. I'm sure we can answer some fan questions that end up popping up in the chat on YouTube. And we'll try to keep an eye on that Facebook post as well if you have questions. For Norm when we get him in the booth a little later today. If you have any questions for me, $2 Phil, feel free to drop those in the YouTube chat as well. So the format for the LBC National Championships, you get yourself 6 games of competition across 12 lanes. So these players will be moving pairs just like a PBA tournament as they go through their 6 games of competition. So it's a scratch event for most players. There is a men's handicap and a women's handicap division, but a lot of the players you're going to see on this squad are going to be in the scratch division, whether it's men's scratch, women's scratch, or senior classic. All of our scratch divisions are called classic divisions, and then there's a men's handicap and a women's handicap division as well. Now, there's still openings through the remainder of this event. This event runs through July 16th. It's weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. Your squad times each day are 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. Now, you can only bowl once. Once you get your 6 games in, that's your score for the event. There's no re-entries or anything of that nature. But there's a unique format to how doubles and team events work during this League Bowler Certification National Championship. The first 3 games in this event count towards your doubles score. So let's say you're going to see Kyle Zagar come up in a minute, and let's say he wanted to bowl with his brother Ryan. There you see the big great white, as they like to call him, with the purple and white shirt there. Or let's say Zach Tackett wanted to bowl with his brother EJ. Now, EJ can't bowl the main part of this LBC National Tournament because he's in the top 50 in points. Obviously, with the year EJ had, he's first in points. So that's why EJ's not here today. Zach can bowl. He's outside the top 50. He's bowling in the Open Classic division. EJ will be bowling for a separate prize fund on July 17th on a special top 50 points earners squad. But if Zach wanted to bowl with his brother for doubles in the first 3 games, for his total now, and EJ's total the last day of the tournament, they can do that by Zach paying the entry fee before he bowled. So whoever the first bowler is, they need to pay that entry fee for the doubles team, obviously, before they bowl. Otherwise, hey, somebody shoots 800. Hey, I'm going to get in doubles with everybody. Obviously, not going to happen. And then the second 3 games set of this event, games 4, 5, and 6, are for a 4-player team score. So let's say Zach Tackett wanted to bowl with his brother EJ, and let's say they wanted to bowl with the Tang brothers. Michael Tang is going to be outside the top 50. He can bowl the regular part of this tournament, any of the 7 qualifying weekends. While Darren Tang in the top 50 in points has to wait for that last squad on the 17th of July. But if Zach were to pay for everybody's entry fee today, hey, that's what they make Venmo and PayPal and Zelle for. Get that money for everybody else, make that payment in the tournament office, bang, there's your 4-player team. And as each of those 4 players finishes up their games 4, 5, and 6 on their respective qualifying blocks, there you go. There's your 4-player team score. So pretty unique ways to enter doubles and team. The one thing to remember here with the LBC National Championships is those entry fees for either both doubles players or all 4 team players need to be paid before that first bowler takes to the lanes. Thanks to everybody joining us on the PBA YouTube channel. Once again, right-click on any of those feeds in the description below the video. Open up a second pair feed if you're following your favorite player. So let's say right now you're a Benji Martinez fan. You want to see how Benji's doing. Right-click on the streams from 37 to 40 because he's starting on lane 40. Pop up that second tab of your browser. Keep us on in here because you're not going to want to miss when Norm's on the microphone. We'll probably have Norm in here game 2-ish. maybe a little into game 3. Norm's busy, talking to the players, glad handing, hobnobbing through the concourse. And one of the nice parts about this LBC National Championship is every weekend, all 7 weekends of the event, there will be a PBA player here, if not a Hall of Famer, definitely Hall of Fame caliber or future Hall of Famer, that you'll be able to meet in person, that you'll be able to get advice from in person. That if you're on the practice pairs, there's 6 lanes that are set aside for practice on the LBC National Championship pattern that you could pay to practice on before you bowl. And like today, Norm was down there watching a couple of players and just giving a little piece of advice here, piece of advice there. Where else are you going to get an entry or get advice from Norm Duke or get advice from a Sean Rash or a Chris Prather while you're practicing for the LBC National Tournament? How much better can it get? That's an awesome feature to have during this tournament. So I'm kind of tired of looking at these guys on 29 through 32. I mean, can't get tired of watching Zach Tackett. What a great run he had at the PBA Players Championship. So once again, if you need more information on this PBA League Bowler Certification National Championships, the easiest place to get it, PBA.com. If you're into those nice long web addresses, well, it's not that long of a web address. It's PBA.com/LBC Tournament. And that'll take you right to the landing page for this event. And actually, if you want to watch the Lane Talk scores, those should be available beginning next week. And of course, after the opening weekend, we'll all have all of our full standings in each of the 5 divisions available to you through PBA.com. Hey, there's Zach Tackett kicking a 9 out. Let's go over to another set of streams here. Let's go to 33-36. Couple notables on this stream. Ethan Kalin, good young man from Illinois. Young man. Really took up the game at a young age. He's on the spectrum, but loves the sport of bowling. I remember back in 2019, we were at the Pro-Am in Aurora, Illinois for that PBA Summer Swing event. And Greg Ostrander went out to his car, saw that he had a bowling ball that could really help Ethan with his game. Ethan grabbed it from Greg when it was offered, couldn't believe it, was like, wow, and then Greg goes, shoot it, throw it. And Ethan packed 10 back in the pit. I know that clip's out there. It's on my personal YouTube page, or my personal Facebook page. I know it made the rounds a bit too, and yeah, I mean, Greg Ostrander made Ethan's year in 2019 by doing that for him. And Greg, if you're watching, man, it sucks not having you out here on tour anymore due to injury, but I hope all is well back home. And man, you're a selfless human being, and one of the, the term good guy gets overused a lot. Now, Greg's a great guy out here on tour. So Ethan Kalin, one of your players right now on 33-36. Matt Gasson. Matt works for some Midwest representative for Storm Bowling. He gets the lanes there. There's Ryan Zager. You saw a lot of Ryan Zager here during the World Series of Bowling. Keep down a day gig and then bowling the World Series of Bowling while trying to fill the old work hours. Never easy, but Ryan almost pulled off a cash in the Cheetah event. Still had a pretty good overall showing, even though he didn't hit the pay window during the World Series of Bowling. Randy Weiss, representative from Motive on the PBA Tour there. You see him walking off. Brett Spangler, we saw him a little bit more. Everybody knows Brett is the main ball rep for Motive on the PBA Tour, but Randy Weiss out there helping a lot during this 2023 season as well. Well, we promised. We knew he was in the building. We told you he'd be here, and he's now in the booth. PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke. Norm, glad to have you in Milwaukee this weekend,
man,
sir.
Nice to be back with you, Phil. I had to take a coffee break, man. You know,
I
me
don't
and my
blame you.
coffee. I went over and I asked for coffee, and they said, man, our machine just broke.
Oh, no.
Give us a minute. And I said, no, I ain't got no minute. I got a cheat spot here about 2 blocks away that you can get in quick.
Oh, yeah, Corner Bakery. That's good stuff. Corner Bakery Cafe.
Exactly.
There's a lot of good, and that's one thing we can get into a little bit more as we go on through the squad. There's a lot of good places to go and eat and have a beverage of your choice around here. And
oh, this place rocks, too.
Yeah.
You know, the last trip that I made here for bowling, I stayed with Brad and Kyle.
Okay.
And, oh, man, we had a blast here. And we ate every morning. Same place.
Yeah, there's some good breakfast places around here, no doubt about it. So the pattern here, you can tell from the variety of styles that we have and the scores that are getting posted by some pretty darn good players out here. You can play pretty much anywhere with anything. It almost seems like of your choosing as we get the slow roller for Ethan. How about that?
Oh, Ethan.
The messenger.
Love and life.
How about that? Yeah, so it's 42 feet in length. It's about 29 mils in the pattern, and just from observing, we watched the early squad today, and we're watching this squad.
Yeah, you can hit these a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
You can use a lot of different equipment. They're kind of slick on the inside. There's plenty of friction to the outside if you want to just wheel on it. There's enough oil in the front part of the lane that if you want to go down and in from right of 5 or right down 5, that's in play. It's almost like our PBA cheetah pattern is what I say, where that is designed to have multiple angles, have a chance to win, right?
Yeah.
But maybe a little softer, probably mostly in the laydown area and in the heads where it's critical that you get it through there. I tell you what, they're very scoreable, but you'll see a bunch of blower tins because you can hit the pocket. But if you're not hitting the pocket the right way, you're going to shoot your 10-pin. You'll see some to the 7-10s too, Phil.
Yeah, we saw a couple on the opening squad that were just a little on the vicious side where you watch. It was almost like a wrap 10.
Oh, yeah.
To go with the blower 7. I mean, it's just a little insult to injury.
Oh, yeah. And, everybody says this. Well, welcome to this bowling center when you leave a 10-pin or whatever. But I will tell you what, there's about 3 or 4 pair down there in this high 30s, right about where we're watching, that you will leave a lot of solid 9s and a lot of blower 10-pins. Yeah. And it took so many guys out of play when we were here for the summer series last, simply because they just couldn't get consistent carry at night when they had what they thought were the best pairs. They just couldn't get them to strike.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. We had our opening ceremonies a little while ago. For those of you that missed it on the PBA YouTube channel and the LBC Facebook channel, go ahead, catch it, and watch it after it was done. The MC of the ceremony, I don't know if Van talked to you at all. Van McNeil, he's a local radio personality here in Milwaukee. He bowled the summer swing here in 2013. It was his dream to bowl the summer swing. So he had never bowled a PBA event before.
And he didn't win.
And he wasn't the red leader either, which is the good thing. He wasn't last. He was close, but he wasn't last. But his knees were shaking so bad, and he was on the low side of the building, on the 24-lane side, and Walter Ray is to his left. And the last thing he wants to do is double jump Walter Ray with the PBA lane courtesy
right.
ball. He's making sure one bowler on the pair to his left and one bowler on the pair to his right goes before he goes. Well, that happens and he freezes up. And then one bowler on the left goes again and one bowler on the right goes again. And Van's getting ready to go and he freezes up again. And Walter Ray's getting ready to bowl. And all Walter Ray does is turn to look at him and Walter Ray goes, "Just bowl!" Meanwhile, when Van's done picking up his fecal matter from off the floor, because having a Hall of Fame like that, he didn't hit the head pin in his next 4 shots.
Well, that's a nice shot right there.
Yeah.
Hey, we all have to get used to bowling in front of our idols. I mean, my very first game of bowling on the PBA Tour, I'm crossing with Marshall Holman, who at that time, that's Randy Weiss doing that. That is so unlike him.
Oh.
And he knows it, too. He's like, man, I threw a pretty good ball, left 10 pin, and then whiffed it. I gave 34 pins away.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was awfully hard for me to get Marshall Holman and bowling a shot without thinking about his eyes on me. It's one thing, there's nobody in front of you, nobody's tackling you. So you say, well, where's the intimidation at? Yeah. It is you thinking about them watching you. And that I had to learn how to get out of that because the very next game, I'm going to be bowling with Mark Roth, and then the next game is Earl Anthony or Walter.
Yeah.
It's not easy, so I understand exactly what Van felt that day.
So it was kind of funny because I told him, "Oh, you're back to the scene of the crime today." So
yeah.
But it's
still clean up all on 32.
Right. But the nice part about this event for these players is they're getting a taste of what it would be like out on the PBA. They're moving pairs after every game. There's an official check-in. They may have their bowling balls weighed and measured by Neil Stremmel, who handles that type of thing for the PBA.
Right, at any time.
At any
Neil
time.
can take a bowling ball and go check it.
Right.
And that's good. All we're doing is protecting the field. Yeah. There's bowling balls that you can look at and you just know that's good, and there's bowling balls you look at and you know that needs to be checked. It might be good, but it might not be.
Might not be.
And especially when you have so many amateur tournaments amateur entrants with so many pro shop operators dealing with these bowling balls. Yeah. We just want to make sure everything's on the square.
Absolutely. So I see more people piling in on the YouTube feed. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 5-minute audio intermission with Norm. We're going to get some graphics changed and some other things done here. If you have questions for Norm, throw them in the YouTube chat. We'll ask him a few if they're fitting questions. Don't ask him like bowling ball recommendations or anything like that, because he doesn't know your game, really. He can tell you what's good from Storm. I mean, he's still with him after all these years.
Yeah, I love Storm. Still on staff with Storm.
Yep. So, but he can't like give you a personal fit or know what your game's like just off of seeing a rev rate and stuff like that. But questions you have for Norm, ask away in the chat, and we'll be back with Game 2 in a minute. And it's going to be a fun afternoon here with Norm at Bolero Wauwatosa.
Let's take 5.
one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the sport of bowling, by far, is now sitting on my desk. I can't wait to show everybody this. It's so cool. In the booth with me is not just Norm Duke, but it is the Duke.
Rubbing my head.
The Duke. Yeah, it is the Duke. How about that?
All right, I'll give you the cheat.
Yeah.
If you are one of the entries in the next 5 weeks here on the weekends at Bolero Wauwatosa, find the trophy and rub the head of the Duke, and now you got the luck. You got to have luck on your side. Luck is so much part of bowling, right? Get that luck. Hey, go get that luck.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the clutch pose after a big strike. Is there a certain shot that, did they tell you what the inspiration was?
Oh, I know exactly the shot. Yeah,
okay.
This was the second shot in the 10th frame against Wes Malott in Indianapolis when I was 54 years old, so that would have been 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
And I did not shut Wes out, but that was the second shot that forced him to double, and he left a really vicious 10-pin. So I went on to bowl against Jason Belmonte, and I got to win that one. But that was actually wasn't a victory pose at all. It was just one of those in the 11th. But yeah, I knew as soon as I saw the photo that was the shot, because there's only a few shots per event that they deem iconic, and you see them over and over and over. So yeah, I knew it.
Yeah,
and look at this. You want to talk about the greatest honor in the history of mankind? Wow. Yeah.
And the coolest part about it is that they got you on a wood approach, too.
Yeah, it's a wood approach.
Yeah.
And this thing, I'm going to tell you something. This thing is, I'm guessing, 37 and a half pounds. I don't know.
It's not quite Chris Paul heavy, but it gives it a run for the money.
Yeah. Now, I got that Chris Paul trophy. If you win the Chris Paul event, and I won it with Chris, you get a trophy that is a little wider base here, and I guess this is probably, the commissioner's inspiration.
Sure.
Was that trophy. And it's a little taller. That thing's about 50 pounds. and yeah, you don't take it home and set it next to you, and put a seat belt on it on the airplane.
So, all right, let's get back to the action.
Yeah, back to the action.
And we've got, wow, some of these lanes are not screwing around right now. They are well into game 2. And it looks like we got a couple of, well, no, there's 4 in a pair, so. There you see Rich Babcock coming into play. He's had some couple of shots he hasn't been happy with. And he's hollering at the pins to let him know he's not happy, Norm. Was there ever a player on tour where you kind of had to watch out for just in case there was an outburst on a bad shot or a bad break?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There were more than one.
Yeah.
You knew. They were usual suspects, so it wasn't something that you were shocked about. But, you want a shot at throwing a strike without having the commotion in your approach. So yeah, you knew.
I remember Marshall Holman years ago. We were at the World Series of Bowling in Reno, 2016, and Nathan Bohr on tour he's kind of notorious for having a longer quality pre-shot routine, and it was to the point in match play there's 8 guys left that they were kind of all yielding to Nathan. I went to Marshall with the same question. Was there a guy you just kind of let do his thing because you didn't know what was going to happen? He goes, not really. And he pulls the sliders down, and he goes, yeah, it was me because nobody knew if I was going to holler or punch something or do whatever. I'm like, Marshall, why couldn't you say that on air?
Right. Is there anybody that you would watch out for? Yeah, myself.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, if you're watching these lanes and you're wondering how to play them, about, I don't know, I'd say get it to around 7, 8, 9 down lane. That means the ball's going to hook just a pinch before it gets 42 feet. It puts it on about 10, 11. Yep. I think 10, 11 down lane is the sweet spot. Now then, if you got a lot of hand and you can get a ball that'll roll early enough, you can just wheel it to the gutter. You can bank it off of that sucker. In fact, I've seen some balls overhook when they're trying to get it to the gutter and they feel like they may have thrown it in and they catch it a little harder. That thing will go high in a heartbeat. So if you're looking for friction to the right, you got it here.
Yep. Let's check in with some of the guys because we saw Ryan Zagar the first game and he shot 279. Well, guess what, Norm? He's over on our left lane here on this pairing and the front 3.
Front 3, yeah. So he's doing it right.
So
one of the things here, we're looking at Randy Weiss here on lane That's 42. He leaves the 1-2-4. Now, if you can miss the head pin, you're not doing it right. Even if you mishit it a little bit. If you miss the head pin, they're either overly hard or you're not doing it right. And here's your 279 play. Now he's, all right, big wheel, but he's still getting it to 10-11, 9-10-11 down lane. Now, if he misses right, instead of it overhooking, he'll have less on it because he missed.
Yeah.
Right. And it'll go high flush instead of through the nose.
Right.
That's, I think, the way to play these things when I look at it. I'd have the big wheel going. I'd have a decent-sized ball.
So, and they're not necessarily splitting boards out here today, are they? This pattern does give you a little room for error. It doesn't give you a arrow-to-arrow error, but it definitely gives you a
You know, it's not like the Open Championships with USBCs where you almost have to set a lane up in order to get it to work well for your team. This is kind of like after their setup and you're starting. But they don't just break down profusely because we've got 29 mils of oil. Yeah. So it will hold up. You got 6 games out there. You're not going to play the same shot all 6 games. However, you're not going to be moving near the rate that you would be on a PBA condition, and you're going to move about twice or 3 times as much as you would on a house condition, because house conditions have so much oil in the middle, it kind of prevents you from moving in sometimes.
And there you just mentioned, if they get it a little right, it doesn't get that overhook back. We just saw Matt Gasson there. He's got the bucket. Not too often you see a full bucket here at Bolero Wauwatosa, but he's managed to leave it.
That is a full bucket. I don't see very good. When there's a sleeper
bucket
down there, I got to ask now.
I had to cheat and use the scoreboard.
I can read
thing.
that with glasses, maybe.
Right. I need to get us a monitor in the booth, like the 50-inch HD on a stand kind of thing.
No doubt.
These 17-inch monitors just don't cut it sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good shot there on the left lane by Randy Weiss. And by the way, he's past pro. I know I bowled him here in the Masters one year. That's a chop spare, but I don't think he's doing it right. He's just a little bit too straight from a little bit too deep. Okay. And if you hit it to the right, you don't miss right enough to catch the drive. Yeah. So if I was him, man, I'd be looking about 5 boards to the right. I'd get a little hand or maybe soften up a little bit or twirl a little bit to get a little turn, and then take advantage of the friction. Friction is your friend. If you don't have friction, you don't have hit. Yeah. So you got to use that friction sometime.
That's one of the underestimated things that a lot of people don't realize, even with two-handed players, is the ability to change the axis rotation a bit. Like you said, get the twirl or get the end over.
Well, they don't drag.
Is one of the best.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
No, of all time. Yeah. Doing that, but they don't have that drag off the thumb. You drag the thumb, you're going to turn it a little more, right? Because it's dragging. Well, they don't have that. Yeah. So they can dial in their rev direction, I think, a lot easier than the one-handers, just because of the thumbs in it.
I'm digging the bowling in shorts thing, for this event. It's a PBA. The LBC National Championship. It has a dress code, but shorts are allowed in this dress code. Yeah, When's the last time you got the bowl?
We got the Live Golf. Hey, it's the same as Live Golf. We got the Live Golf dress code here.
Well, there are certain events that you got the bowl with shorts on. I know there were some outdoor events that you guys.
The outdoor ones. Shoot, that one was 120 degrees in the shade, and if we didn't have shorts, we'd all passed out.
Yeah, except Mika wore culottes. I was trying to figure that out. Mika went European that one year.
I tell you what, that was the hottest. That was the hottest. Yeah. Ever. I know that Randy and I don't remember who his partner was, Randy Peterson.
It may have been Mike J at the time.
Yeah, it may have been. Yeah. I think it was Mike J, because he went 2/3 of the way down and he was showing them the lane. He says, "Boy, I'm telling you, the sun is," and they started pouring water over his head, looking like he was sweating. Oh man,
I'm sure they could have fried an egg on those lanes.
That was Chicago. It was the hottest ever. Yeah. For bowling, we don't get that hot when we're bowling.
No,
usually.
No, they usually. I mean, it's a nice temperature here at Bolero Wauwatosa. It's probably 65, 66 degrees on this end of the bowling center that we're in, and I'm comfortable. I got a couple of shirts on. It's pretty good. This young man here, the one thing that's great about the sport of bowling is anybody can do it. It's inclusive.
Ethan told me he had autism.
Yeah, he's autistic, and I was recollecting before we got you on here. There was a moment at the Summer Swing in 2019 where Greg Ostrander went out to his car, got a ball that he thought would fit Ethan, and gave it to him. And the first shot that Ethan threw with it, after Greg gave it to him, packed 10 back. The look on Ethan's face, he was in high school at the time, he was so happy. He couldn't believe it. He was ecstatic. He looked at Greg, this is mine? You couldn't believe it. And then to throw a strike with it immediately was really cool.
Yeah, and not all pros are aware that they can make people's day at any breath, but most are. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the bowling pros do as good a job of that as any other sport.
Oh, there's that 710.
Yeah, man, got the fingers a little bit high in the when I say high, I turned it early, and the finger's a little too high. He's not getting quite the lift on it he wanted. That's back-to-back shots, by the way. 10-pin on the right lane and 7-10 on the left lane on basically the same shot.
So is that a time to move warning that Ryan's getting from the lane?
No. I think the worst part is maybe it was too early of a move, or he started out a little too deep and just got fortunate with the first 4. I think he just turned it a little bit too early, and a lot of times you're protecting against high, so you kind of feel that early turn, and then you don't just pop it. You just kind of float out of it. Yeah. You're begging for a 10-pin at that point, and he got the 7 with it. Bless his heart.
So we got to see you throw a ball for the opening ceremony today. You said the over/under was 7.5. You got to 8. I got
the over. I'll pay the over.
Everybody at Bet in the Tournament Office gets the over. When's the last time before today you tossed the ball?
Well, I got to be exactly honest. When Wes Malott picked me up for the league, that was my last shot. But I bowled a game about a week later in New York at an event that we do every year for Steve Miller. Okay. And that was my last shot. Okay. Was about a week after Wes picked me up. Yeah. But my last shot for score individually was against Anthony Simonson in the Masters, and then my last shot period was basically that league where Wes picked me up, and he's such a doll. I love him. If you're listening to me, Wes Malott, I love you.
He's an awesome human being. He's one of those guys that even though he's in the PBA Hall of Fame, you talk to people sometimes and when they think of Hall of Famers, they don't necessarily think of Wes, and I find that hard to believe with the career that Wes has had. I mean, he's had some heartbreaks in some tournaments. I mean, losing to Mike Fagan in 2014.
Remember the TSC that year.
He's had some heartbreaks in his career that really could have changed things around. But
nice shot there, Matt.
I remember in 2021 they had the Players Championship qualifier at AMF West here in the Milwaukee area, and Wes bowled it. And Tom walked out and told Wes after the tournament was done, "You've been selected for the PBA Hall of Fame." It was so cool to see that moment in person and recorded for Wes and all the PBA fans to see that kind of thing. And it was a great speech that Wes had.
Yeah, well, Wes and I won, I think it was 2016, the doubles in this event. Now, the telecast was in Indianapolis. Okay. But the top 5 were decided in this facility. Yep. And we led by a pretty good bit. Had a blast. That was one of those that I was careering it. I was a little older, I was probably, 2016, however old I was, but he said at one time to Tommy Jones, he said, "Yeah, I can't keep up with Norm right now." He said, "I can't do it."
Yeah, I remember, and then you look at the year you had in 2019 with 2 titles, and I mean, just the year that if you would have said you would have back-to-back titles at the beginning of 2019, you would have told her. I think you would have laughed at people that suggested that.
No, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have?
No,
okay.
I trained for that. Okay. So, yeah, if you don't believe you can do it, if you're not training for a specific purpose, then what you're doing is wasting time training. Yeah. Figure out what you want at the end and go for that. And, look, set your goals as high as you can, higher than you can imagine, because if you barely miss those goals, just barely miss them, think about what you accomplished. Okay. So, yeah. Now, if you'd asked anybody else in the building, one of the greatest sights I see ever in bowling is what we're watching right here on Lane 42 with Ethan. Now, we're talking about competition here. He could win the Duke. He could win upwards of 50, 100,000. Who knows? And he has autism, and he throws it that good. Yeah.
There's a lot of young players I'm seeing more and more that kids that are on the spectrum, boys and girls, that really enjoy being part of high school bowling because the team concept, and they get to practice with their friends, and if they need a little space alone, they go to another lane, and if they need to settle down. So a friend of mine, her son bowls on one of the local high school teams, and he's on the spectrum, and he loves it. He just started doing bowling in a junior league because he saw a friend doing it. And then he's like, "Oh, I want to join the high school team and I want to get better." So now he's got his own bowling ball, and he's working on. He wants to take some lessons in the future too. So it's pretty cool. I know some college players that are on the spectrum as well that have had pretty decent collegiate careers.
Oh yeah,
So,
but you know it's awesome too to watch. I do a lot of these things now. I was, in fact, at the state championship here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then I did Minnesota state championship as well. And when you watch these kids participate, compete, they're just so awesome to one another. You know, they pick each other up.
Yeah.
If they're down, they don't just spread gloom. I mean, I really watch. It is amazing. Bowling's in great hands. And if you watch this left-hander here that just opened in the 10th frame, that's one of the things I was talking to you about. If you're playing a little direct and you're playing the hold down lane in this facility right now, and you miss outside, you miss to the right-handed, left-handed, it can overhook. You almost have to play that dry to be able to miss into the dry and not get it to overhook.
Yeah. I remember when Chris Prather was here testing the pattern, and then they did the pattern reveal video. So
that's funny there. I'll get it out of there.
It was, okay, you got the 7 to go. Chris, threw a couple practice shots, and then he went down the line. First arrow with urethane, second arrow with another ball, third arrow with resin, fourth, and he struck on 4 straight shots. It was amazing to watch because it proved that you can play from anywhere, but you also have to have the right piece in your hand in order to do it.
Yeah, just like right here, we watch Matt Gase, and by the way, he's pro level.
Yeah.
And he just, that was a really good shot there. All right, so maybe his feet need to be a board left or board right, but that still was a great shot. If you can't get the head pin into that 10 on the bird dog, you're going to lose. In respect to going to the finale at Bayside.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get that head pin into the 10 pin when you bird dog. All right, so you said, have to have the right piece in my hand.
Right.
That right there may be the first indication that you don't.
Okay.
Now, if you made a bad shot, or if you know you were trying to cheat a little early by moving left too quick, things like that, maybe you don't have the bad piece in your hand.
Okay.
But if you think everything is just hunky-dory right there and you leave that kind of 10 pin, it's time to get that ball to roll a little earlier, I think.
Oh, let's see. I don't know if Zagar switched. No, he hasn't switched balls yet.
That's a much better shot off his hand.
And he got the 7 to go late.
Yeah, and see, when I watch a shot that good off his hand, and he's 5 into the 4-7 into the pins, that tells me he's too deep. Okay, so maybe he was just a pinch deep, and maybe he wanted to scooch right just a pinch, but no, I can get the pocket from here. Okay, so now he's relying on 5 into the 4-7. He's relying on that 7-10 hit that, I was never like that.
Yeah.
I want him 10 in the pit, cha-ching. It ain't up to you.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. It ain't up to you. It's up to me whether I strike or not. And so sometimes cheating is no good. I want him like that, Ethan. That a boy. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's a good kid. I've gotten to know him for a couple of years now. His dad's always posted his bowling achievements on Facebook, and he doesn't look for just bowling the house shots. He wants to bowl on the tougher stuff, and that's the one thing it's so neat to see with the kids is that you tell them it's a PBA pattern, their eyes kind of open up and go, cool.
Oh yeah, that's why we're in
really
great shape,
yeah.
Phil, because they are demanding that challenge.
Yeah.
They know the difference in checkers and chess. And
Right.
if the USBC's listening to me right now, you play checkers for a very short time. You play chess forever.
Yeah. And so that's one of the fun things I always had around here was my wife and I bowled a sport league for years on Monday nights in a little center down by us, and they rotated the patterns every 3 or 4 weeks, and it was just and it was bowlers of all averages and abilities. So everybody got to learn on what was going on with the lanes. And
You see now, right here in front of us, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Randy Weiss, I just said, he can't miss right and get it back up because he's too direct from too deep, okay? So he makes 5 good shots in a row. He gets 4 out of 5 strikes. But that one that he mishits a little bit, and you need to rely on this ball bouncing off of it and then tearing into the pins.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that hit. He doesn't get that look. He's got to make that 2-4-5.
Ooh, and he chopped that bucket he had earlier, and this is not a quality game. It's not like Randy can
He can do. Hey, look, Randy can do anything he wants.
Well, except re-enter.
Except re-enter.
Except re-enter.
I mean, with a bowling ball, he can
Right.
do anything he wants.
Yeah.
He just has not come to grips with it yet. Okay. Now I may be wrong as well. I haven't thrown a ball. Well, one, but I haven't thrown a ball down there.
Yeah.
I'm just observing, just like you are at home.
Right. Zagar feeling it in the 10th, so he starts at 279, can finish in the 250s this game. That's a quality start for the young man.
Yeah, it's solid,
from the
isn't
scene. Yeah, I mean, the kid can play. The first time, I used to do local TV around here. We used to do cable TV bowling on a sports channel, Time Warner Sports, and 2008, Ryan was 14 years old. Was practicing, getting better. He was at a great center. Lenny Borsch has his pro shop in Racine at Castle Lanes, about 40 minutes from here. And Ryan was practicing. He was getting good, listening to Lenny, all the other stuff. 14 years old. He gets on TV. He bowls a college kid for his championship. First time he's ever been on TV. Ties by throwing a bad shot in the fill ball. He gets 7 on the fill ball. And he could have won with 8 or more. And he just threw a terrible shot and whiffed the head pin because of the nerves. And they lost in a 1-ball rollout. The kid went. We were turning on the TV set. He got a few lanes down, and practiced for the next 45 minutes on just what he did on that errant shot in the 12th ball. And that's one of those ones where you see a kid like that and you go, this kid could really do something sometime. How about that for Gasson?
That's the way you get that head pin in the 10 pin. You know what I seen, Ryan, and that shot from Matt, I didn't see his one before, is a little softer hand. Now, they're winding on it just as much.
Yeah.
They're popping it but it's a softer pop. It's not an aggressive right to left through impact as much as it is a let the ball get off the thumb and just lift.
Yeah. How about that?
So what does that do? Well, it softens the roll up. It makes it roll just a little bit sooner and not so sparky-barky at the back end. And then instead of having pins in front of the 10 pin, it's a little bit more in the face of the pocket. You get the head pin into the 10.
So it's shaping it with a little less angularity on the back.
People say arc in or get it to stand up quicker. Nah, I just say just getting it to behave a little bit sooner and with a little less pop.
And another splasher for Gasson.
Yeah, I like that. I like that right there. Now, if you're Randy Weiss, you're in the pit area going, all right, I've struck 4 times, and this guy is averaging 8, 9, 10, whatever he's averaging. That Ryan kid is striking every ball right. It's time to, you look yourself in the eye and go, hey, this is the sign.
Yeah.
You got to do the signs.
All right, these players are going to finish. We're going to take a little 5-minute breather on the commentary. We're going to get some stuff switched around. Norm's going to stick with us throughout the block.
Yeah, if you got questions, let us know. We'll get to those questions in this next 5. He promised you this last time, 5 minutes and then questions, but I think
I'm still waiting for more questions. I've only got 1 in there so far. And it's about
Shoot, I'll put 1 in. I'll ask you.
Oh, yeah, now they're starting to roll in. See, now we let them know. So he's PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke. I'm $2 Phil Brilo in the Wall of Shame. And, hey, we'll be back shortly. All right. I'm $2 Phil Brylo, Norm Duke, PBA Hall of Famer. He's in the building. He's talking to some fans, and that's the best part of coming to even if you're not bowling the LBC National Championships, let's say you're spectating a friend or that kind of thing, you're going to have a chance to meet phenomenal PBA players all through the 7 weekends of this event. And, hey, if you want to put it on your schedule already, if you want to watch the best in the world show up for 6 games here in this PBA Elite Bowler Certification National Championship, put Monday, July 17th on your schedule. The top 50 players from this year's PBA points list are bowling their own special squad. Right here at Bolero Wauwatosa. You'll be able to meet the players before and after. Looking to get autographs, pictures, all kinds of things. You'll have that chance here at Bolero Wauwatosa. Let's stick with a group we saw a little earlier with Zach Tackett, Kyle Zagar, Zeke Bate, Nick Bohr. See where they've moved to play the lanes on lane 45 and 46 here in game 3. There you see Kayla Crawford converting another 10-pin. She needs to get a little bit more into the carry category. Yeah, she only has 1 strike through her first 4 frames here in game 3. Once again, pace fast and furious. Doesn't take long for some of these players to start really stringing strikes. And hey, we got a celebrity on the squad. Well, we got several celebrities on the squad. But right now, a bunch of players from Creating the Difference, of course. You see on the left lane, CEO of Creating the Difference, Ron Hicklin Jr. Dustin Zahner, you see, one of the head honchos there as well. Dustin with the fist pump, looking to put 240 on the board. Hicklin with the conversion. A little rough patch there, frames 5 through 8 for Hicklin, but he's going to try to turn that around. And then the other 2 players Ron Hickland Sr., you're going to see stepping up here on lane 27. Nisia Hickland stepping up on lane 28. So we'll stick with them through the end of their game 3 and see the various styles that are out there. We got a powerful righty, a powerful lefty, and a couple of players playing it pretty conventional up the outside part of the lane. There you see Ron Hickland Sr. can't get that 10 to go, but he's ended the drought of having a few donuts on the board up there with those red donuts on the scoring system.
All right, the next 5 minutes break.
You talk about a guy that's done a lot in this bowling industry and in kind of a long period of time. He's been around for a while. A lot of his ball designs back in the day with ebonite, and now there may have been a bit of adversity in Ron's life with the parting of ways with ebonite, but he didn't dwell on the bad. He went with the good and just started creating the difference. And you talk about a company that's really taken off over the last several years, all the various, not just, it started with cleaning products, but now it's so much research he does in the bowling ball motion and surface adjustments. And, he's got one of his true cut pads in his hand right now as we speak, as he's putting it back in the bag. And, he's one of the underrated, I'm going to say, geniuses in the industry. There's no doubt about it. With what he's done, love him or hate him, he's a genius in this industry, no doubt. And some of the social media vitriol that gets around out there can be a bit troublesome. Ron doesn't let that bother him. He just keeps moving forward, man. There's not too many times off the lanes that you don't see Ron with a smile on his face. On the lanes right now, this is all business. This man is definitely all business. So, Sky Thompson with the question in the chat. Is Kyle Troop bowling in the PBA Tournament League program? Kyle Troop will be bowling that squad I mentioned earlier, that top 50 point squad for this PBA League Bowler Certification National Championship. Monday, July 17th is that date. So if you're looking to see some of the best in the world take their 6-game shot at this lane pattern, at this tournament for their own prize fund, remember that top 50 points list, totally separate prize fund from the rest of the LBC National Championships. Put that Monday, July 17th on your calendar and get here to Bolero Wauwatosa to watch that squad take to the lanes. I don't know if Kyle Bowe's at home, if he's part of the LBC certification. He might be. I know I was just out at Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine a couple of weeks ago. Charlie Mitchell, the great proprietor there, ran a fun tournament, the Hungus 8K, and there were a lot of PBA regional players there. Arturo Quintero finished in the top 4 PBA Tour player. And it was a fun event. And all of Charlie's leagues there are part of the League Bowler Certification Program. He has no, I guess you can call it, standard USBC certification. Has a nice finish there by Nisia Hickland. Gets the punch to finish out. At least it gives you something to build on going into the next game. And once again, players move pair after every game, so we'll see the Hickland quartet, well, actually the Hickland threesome with Dustin Zahner coming up shortly. But it's interesting, more and more centers are either like Bayside, just going with the LBC program, or they're going with dual programs where they're going with the program from the USBC, and then they're doing the PBA LBC certification as well. So it's pretty interesting on how this LBC program is taking off. And joining us back in the booth is Norm Duke. And Norm, it's kind of fun. We just had Ron Hickland on. We kind of spotlighted him on the pair he was just on, and he's bowling with his dad. I'm not sure of the relationship with Nasia and his co-CEO, not co-CEO, but one of the higher ups that created a difference. Dustin Zander. 4 distinctly different styles. Ron being a lefty on the lane, and they all found different areas of the lane to play. That's so cool with this LBC lane pattern. There's so many times in standard PBA events we see a lot of players committed to the same part of the lane because that's where the pattern dictates the play.
Correct.
It doesn't do that here with this LBC National pattern. It's really neat.
No, that's why we were talking about it being really close to what we, the chameleon pattern, which was designed for multiple angles through the fronts to have a shot at winning the tournament. Other patterns, before you ever start, that inside's going to play great. Like on Shark, you're going to play in, you're going to go straighter, and then when you play Cheetah, you're going to throw it at the gutter. And we already know the winner's coming from those areas, but chameleon, we've watched people win that thing all different ways.
So we're back. We've got Zach Tackett out in front. Well, that's Mikey Schlebach, right? Oh, no, it's Zeke Bate. Good old Zeke Bate. Nice to see Zeke out here.
I'll tell you what, we got pros out here, Bo.
Yeah, there's a lot of good regional players out here. You got the Mikey Schlebachs and the Zeke Bate. And who could ever forget Zeke and Dick Allen at Bayside in the Roth-Oman doubles that year, where the cries of Dick Bate came out over and over again. Leave it up to the Bayside crowd.
Leave it up to Bayside. I'll tell you what.
We were just talking about that because Bayside, all of their leagues are only certified with the PBA LBC program. Isn't
that wonderful?
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and everybody there's happy with it. Charlie put down this pattern out here for his open play.
You know, and why not? He's going to have this pattern in his facility for the national championships here. And so why not expose his customers to the same things that we're going to be bowling, these folks are going to be bowling to win the Duke?
I have inside information I was just out there a couple of weeks ago for the tournament Charlie ran. I live streamed it. I have inside information that may not have gotten out yet to a lot of other people. I'll tell you off air. It's good stuff.
Oh, you're going to mention inside and then not give people?
All right. Well,
I can't do that. You can't do that. I call foul.
You're the manager of the Dallas Strikers. This could be pertinent information.
Well, good. Bring it.
Yeah. They leveled the lanes at Bayside. They had brought in Bowling Voodoo, a company that specifically comes in, and so they leveled everything up. So you remember the difference there used to be on lanes 1 and 2? How bad the difference was from?
No, I played them the same.
Oh, you played? Oh, sure. Everybody else said they couldn't play them the same.
Yeah.
So but lanes 1, Charlie had this tournament right after he got the lanes leveled, and all the players there said they've never had lanes 1 and 2
lane
play
1
so similar.
Hooked so much more, and lane 2 it got to the back end, and you knew it was buried, and you would 2-pin every time. And you would go from one lane to the other, and Brooklyn's in play if you're going to lane 1, and Washout's in play if you're going to lane 2, and we all know it. We know it, and we still did it. Yeah. So, we knew there was big differences in topography there, and for Charlie to invest that kind of money to level, and we love Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie's our guy.
It was a good tournament. It was nice. I mean, Arturo Quintero's living out there now.
I know.
So he finished in the top 4 in the Hungus 8K, and he's loving it out there.
He's a elite bowler out there.
I met his wife Lila for the first time. She's such a sweetheart, and she designs all of Arturo's jerseys. So I was like, I may have to borrow your skill for a $2 Phil jersey coming up. I need a couple of new ones.
Man, that was just a vicious solid 9 right there on lane 42.
Wow, here's something I didn't think we'd see already.
That's 47.
40, yeah. But Mikey Schlebach at 48 already in front of the ball return in Game 3. End of Game 3, getting into Game 4. That's kind of surprising. And, wow, that's trying to do too much with the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, he caught full hand there, and he's got the 2-4-10. Look, if you catch full hand and you leave a 2-4-10, you either need to expose it right earlier if there's enough friction, or you need to move to the right. And that right there. Now, we're looking at Jeff, bless his heart, the first 8.5 frames were absolutely pure as the driven snow, and then he misses the 9-pin.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Not in competition. If you're listening, you can't do that.
I love watching Kayla's game because it's compact. She gets from point A to point B relatively quick, and just look at it, just the powerful follow through, and bam, 6 kicks to 10.
Yeah, and she missed left there, and right off her hand, she thought, oh, dear, and then it just laid there. You know, and we were talking earlier about this pattern. It's 42 feet in length, and then there's more oil in the middle. and so therefore it will lay. The only thing is you have to get your ball into a spot where you have right room. If you don't have right room, you're not going to be able to keep up with the scoring pace that's required.
Yeah, Gulbrandt's a powerful left-hander from up in northern Wisconsin, Minnesota. That's, I hate using the term "I believe" on air, but I think he has an eagle from USBC.
When you say "I believe" on air, what do you hate about that?
Because people call you out when you're wrong. You say "I believe," and all of a sudden the comments come, or like when Randy says on air sometimes, also my phone's blowing up. I'll get that from some people right now.
If you're listening and you're thinking, well, get it right. Well, not really, because Nelson Burton Jr., one of the greatest of all time. I mean, this guy's won more Emmys than Pete Weber's won trophies. And he said, no, I make it up. I just make it up as I go. Hey, if it sounds good, I'm going to sell it. And so that's what we do now. And I do a little commentary on the PBA, and I try not to make anything up. But I never forget. He said, hey, as long as you believe.
Yeah. I mentioned local TV before. We used to do it. I used to say, because I didn't know a lot of the bowlers that well, so bio card real quick, because we were all one-day events, so it's like you're going right from the semifinals right to the TV taping. Take 5 minutes to fill out the bio card, and I go, just so you know, whatever you put on the bio card, I will read it. One of the girls, they had the Badger Queens, biggest women's tournament in Wisconsin, and she wrote on there, I want to grow up and be a Victoria's Secret model. Now, she's in her mid-30s when she writes this. I read it on air. Her dream is to be a Victoria's Secret model.
Hey, you don't lose your dreams just because, you're getting a little older.
Yeah, well, nightmares are dreams, too, so.
There you have it.
Somebody told me that once. Yeah, nightmares are dreams, too.
That's correct.
Let's see what Schlabach does to, he's already got the first 2 in the 10th. I don't know if he went to another piece. He walked off camera, but wow, I can't believe he's sliding in the left gutter already. I mean, I know he's got some mid out there, but.
That's some mid, yeah.
There you go. He's got the finish, but once again.
Buck 82.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of that is in the 5th frame you get 9 and you miss it. And when you do that, what are you going to do after that? Right. Well, you're going to choke a little bit. So you got 6 split. He made that. But then 7 split. Listen, that 9 spare or 9 miss, the 9 miss is the single most catastrophic thing you can do to a performance because it affects you in so many ways. Not to mention everybody else sees you. And if they see it, you're lifting them. You're saying, hey, you're saying to your competitor, I can miss a spare just at any breath. And so they never really give up against you. I want people to look at me like that man is not going to miss nothing. That's what I want.
Right. It's Walter Ray. I still remember the day where I watched Walter Ray in a PBA 50 tournament in Brentwood, California, miss back-to-back 10 pins. Probably for the only time in his
I'm
career.
calling BS right now.
No.
I'm not believing it. I'm calling you.
It was during the Matrix of
remember
Fairness.
we just said you can't make stuff up. You got to. I believe Walter. No, you didn't.
Oh no,
that.
I was there and saw it.
It's never
my
happened.
own 2 eyes.
I've had dreams, good dreams, that he hadn't missed 2 back-to-back. Look, there's a reason why that man's won 47 times on the regular tour, more than any other man on earth. And one of those big reasons is he always ran the spare down. He just did it. Yeah. And we never even thought, he's shooting a bucket here. No, heck, he'll hit every one of those the ball every time.
Yeah. Kayla Crawford, how about this for a pop? Look at that. Get out of there, 7-pin. You have no chance against Kayla Crawford's might at the moment.
I love it.
Not a chance.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bagger right there.
Yeah. And the women, if you're watching, it's a $5,000 guaranteed top prize for the women's classic division, which Kayla is in. And there's plenty of room for women. Again, there's not a lot of women's entries from what Tom Clark was mentioning earlier. So, ladies, if you're a scratch bowler, get your way here to Bolero Wauwatosa. You got as good of a shot as Kayla or anybody else walking in the doors here to not only take home the $5,000, but think about your chance if you're a division winner here or if you're in the top 3 in the Open Classic to bowl at Bayside Bowl.
Oh, and be a part with the orange cup. You have an orange cup in your hand. By the way, the orange cups at Bayside is because just about everything we do there is televised, and they drink at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Right there, and we love watching them do it. Now, they all have orange cups because they want to hide what they're drinking. So some people have orange cups and they just have water. Not very many.
No.
Not very many.
No, the Hungus 8K was music pumping in the background, and the beverages were flowing at
And they
8:30
dress
a.m.
up and they wear
Yeah.
these hats and helmets and half of them are mascots and oh my guys, that place ruckus or what?
Charlie's dress code for his Hungus 8K tournament was, as long as it covers your nipples, you're good.
God, I love Charlie.
Yeah, and that's the part is, you've seen Norm at Bayside. You've seen him win earn a brick at Bayside. You've seen him win a PBA league title at Bayside. To be part of that atmosphere, and there's going to be 3 or 4 top PBA pros in that roll-off in September, and you have a chance to get those pros because it's the eliminator format. It's the one-ball eliminator. If Sean Rash makes that TV show at Bayside, he gets up in the first frame and he 6 counts, he might be out. You might be past Sean for a little more prize money.
No, he will be out.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight. There's 6 count. He'll be out. He gone.
And
Sorry, Sean.
And there's $100,000 on the line.
Well, there's
at
so
Bayside
many.
total. It's beautiful.
There's so many very, very memorable elements to this event. Everything from traveling to a city, one city, not all the way around, but one city, to bowl the qualifying, to traveling to another city, iconic, both of them, in order to perform for the trophy.
Yeah.
And then you've got the pros coming, all of them here to the back end of it, to bowl doubles with you if you want to bowl doubles. And then you've got all the amateurs going to Bayside at the end to join the pros. It's just, I love this bowling thing.
It's a basically this event with the PBA LBC National Championships could give you the once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
So many people dream of the bowl on TV against the best in the PBA because that's what it's going to be at Bayside.
It's going to be more than a once in a lifetime because we have this every year, by the way, and not to mention there's great competition going on everywhere. If you make it to the end, chances are each Tackett is going to watch you either double in the 10th or choke. That's wonderful. You know what? Wait till you get to Bayside.
How incredible of a year for EJ. My goodness.
That's one of those iconic seasons.
Yeah.
I got to enjoy one of those. Roth, that season was just incredible. Belmo's had every season he's ever bowled in his entire life. He's had that kind of. It's epic to win 5 times in a year when Belmo's in the field. Oh, by the way, that in alone, you can just say, I want to win 5 times this year, just me and Belmo.
Right.
And you'll be hard pressed to get 1 or 2 victories in there. Wait a minute. You beat the whole field 5 times. And then add television to that, where at best you're 49-point-something% chance to win if you're the lead. You can lead every tournament and not win half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an epic season. If you're an EJ Tackett fan like I am, by the way, I know you're loving life right now. And his brother not only made the show the last time, but he's in the field today.
Right. Yeah, we'll catch up. We'll catch up with Zach momentarily.
That was a great bird dog right there.
Let's see if I can find him here. He should be back on. No, I think he went to the high side, so our coverage is a little spotty on the high side, but we should get one more look at Zach before he's done today.
Oh, this is close. Good try there on that split. That's the way you got to do those splits, too. That's not one of those that you want to get 8 out. No way do I want to get 8 out. So he's on a strike, a double. So he made sure of 1, but he got close. I like that.
So let's get over. We're going to take a little peek away here for a second because we have one pair right in front of us with the booth. And we can kind of spotlight people on it a little bit. It's 27 and 28. And it's kind of cool because it's just these guys all seem to know each other. They're sitting around talking between shots. And even though this is a very competitive tournament, the LBC National Championship on Money on the Line, it's a great social event too for these guys. Even if they're not bowling the best in the world, bowling the best series they ever have in their life right now, they're trying. They're having fun, and all the different angles. Once again, you talked about earlier, all the different ways you can get to the pocket now, and these guys are kind of doing it right now.
Right, in a tournament you can't re-enter. You mentioned that before. You can't re-enter. That means you have 1 shot, just like we do on the tour. 1 shot. Let your ball be your guide.
And there he goes.
That was-
Doug right there just guided her right back. I saw that ball get out to about 5, and I'm like going, I don't know, but a little slower ball speed and not as big of a bowling ball, and it kind of rode back to the pocket nice and easy.
I love it. If you expose a bowling ball to that friction and you give it time, in other words, you don't overthrow it, then oftentimes that will get a ball to roll up enough to hit that window so you strike every ball instead of getting a ball that's still spinning when it hits pins, and that's deflection, and you're going to leave a lot of 10 pins. And then that's what opens the lane up. That's a really good way to go about it right there.
And there's a 10 back for Robbie McClellan.
Yeah, some things you just see right off his hand. You just saw that's a really good way to go about it.
I would not want to arm wrestle Robbie McClellan. That guy has got he's right in front of us, in front of our cameras, and he's pretty muscular.
What is arm wrestling?
Right.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm 5'5". I'm 123 pounds. If you found Chris Warren is the only guy who can arm wrestle. I mean, come on.
I haven't seen. Well, I haven't followed the senior tour yet. Well, they got the super seniors going on this week in Vegas. I know that. But Chris Warren's had a pretty good PBA 50.
Oh yeah, he beat me in the Masters.
Well.
That dog.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah, he had to beat me twice because I was the lead, and he ran me over, and I ran me over.
All right, sorry to bring
By
that
the way,
up.
Chris and I, we bowled action together when I was 15 years old. Dale Ballard and Chris Warren and I, we bowled on a weekly basis. Bo Bowden was in that deal.
Okay.
Gary Dickinson, David Ozio, Robert Lawrence occasionally would join us. Listen, Chris and I go way, way, way back, 45 years, and he's such a wonderful guy.
So were all those matches that you did, were they all just singles matches, or were you guys bowling doubles?
No, they were all singles.
They were all singles.
Everything was singles. Yeah, and most of the time you'd pair off against somebody. We didn't do like the $5 high thingy.
No.
We did the 1,000, 2,000. We had 25 people in the back betting both directions, and
I've heard some stories that even back in the day in Milwaukee and Chicago, there used to be some action you can get in the 80s and 90s that was pretty incredible too. I remember watching one night a couple local guys taking on a couple of guys from Chicago, and it was $1,000 a game. Guy doubles they were bowling.
Yeah.
So
heck, I paired off against Steve Stallings at Jupiter Lanes, I guess back in 80. I was 14, 15, and it was a $4,000 freeze out. So you put up 4,000 and you bowled until somebody got that much winner.
Wow.
there wasn't a okay, you won 10, I won 10, we broke even.
Wow.
There was like a rule: you're gonna lose or you're gonna win.
Yeah. Until that 4K was gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Or in your pocket.
Right, and we generated so much buzz that there were so many people in the back, and half of them were betting Steve, and half of them were betting me, and it was just it was chaos at times. Now, it wasn't near like the New York action matches as far as them verbalizing everything.
Okay.
When you go to New York, it's going to be loud, it's going to be ruckus, and it's going to be absolutely intimidating.
Okay.
Now, in Texas, it was a whole different thing.
All right.
It was just the most unbelievable atmosphere watching these people gamble against one another. And there was a lot of noise, but when you got your ball and you got your it was silence.
Okay. Nobody was hollering in somebody's backswing or anything like that.
No, those were fun times. It's scary too. You know, I was really, really young, and it was all the money that my dad and I could come up with, to tell you the truth.
But you didn't have another way to really prepare for the tour back.
That was how I did it,
day.
And, you know, people say, well, Norm, all that gambling, that's not good, that's not good. No, that taught me how to do everything. It taught me how to play and compete and just every little element. That's what it taught me. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Even though I don't say to the college people now, y'all need to just go and bowl action. Heck no, we didn't have college back then.
Right.
We didn't have high school bowling. So we didn't have those stepping stones to get us there. The only thing that we had was action bowling. So if you ask Pete and I went on the tour within a year. Within a year. And Pete had plenty of action bowling in his teens.
Right.
That's how we prepared. Nowadays, it's so much more at ease. No, not at ease. Sorry, that's bad. It's so much more. I want to say more. It's less hectic, and and hard on you. Okay, it's hard bowling at 5 in the morning for every nickel you've got.
Yeah. After you've been bowling for 9 hours already.
Exactly, and so there was just so much about it that I don't want to redo, but I wouldn't trade it. Nice shot there with a trip 6.
Yeah, let's see if we can get over to that pairing. Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to refix that camera, and then we'll get over to that pair we just saw a trip 6 on. Nothing better than an arm fist bump.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's a good shot he threw. I had to fist bump him.
All right, let's get over to the pairs right next door here. So we're going to get over to 29 through 32. As they're about halfway through or just past.
Splits everywhere.
Yeah, and there's, it seems like as some of the bowlers moving from the high end here at Bolero, last pair in play is 65 and 66, and they come back down to the low end.
Right.
Little difference. They're not catching that adjustment as quick.
It's a lot different. Listen, I've done that move, high end to low end here. Yeah. I would say at least 50 times.
Okay.
And low end hooks, high end's tight. So the high end, you get hang on the back end, although the front part of the lane is almost identical. You get hang on the back end, right? And then you get lined up and you're just punching them and everything's great. And then you make the move. This low end, all of the overhook is really on the back end and to the right of your target.
Okay.
It really isn't like the ball hits the floor and starts hooking.
Yeah.
No, it just hooks more on the right and more on the back end. So if you make the move and you Mother May I 4 or 5 boards left and you just soften your hand up, you can just strike at will on this low end.
There you go. See, everybody that's watching the stream right now.
I'll say it again. If you can Mother May I 3 boards, 4 boards to the left, on low end, soften that hand up, you'd be loving life.
And sometimes that's just the key. You don't necessarily have to have the best house knowledge, but just take a look for that the first ball or two when you move from. Especially like bays, the bays at Carolier, or when you used to have to move from the 24 side to this side here, or from the middle, from the low side to the high side on the 48 side. It's the little things that you gotta keep an eye on.
I seldom, Phil, looked for an anomaly lane.
Okay.
I looked for the anomalies in sections. Therefore, every day I hit that section. Let's say I skipped that anomaly pair, right? Well, then I have no information to go on. But if I have it all in sections, I feel like in my mind, I know about every pair I go to.
Okay.
So I'm not leaving any pair alone, right? Yeah, still splits galore.
Yeah. And some head pin misses, and got some players trying to stay outside, but it looks like after it kind of got worn away a little bit, the ball gets to like a little dry patch down lane and loses energy real quick. And then we've seen a lot of plaque 10s. This should be interesting to split down lane 30, the old 6-7-9. A little bit more help from the 9 pin can help you make it.
Oh, you'd rather this than the 4-6, of course. Let's see if he goes for it, because if you go for it, you can get 8 easily, you can get 7 out, you can, let's see. No, he didn't go for it.
Oh, and then insult to injury.
Insult to injury. Your ball will be right back. Look at him smiling. So, God, I love bowling.
So let's take a peek here. We'll give these guys a couple more shots in the spotlight here, and then we'll get back down to 45 through 48. We got a couple players there that, it's like some of these pairs just hit a wall in arm. Looking for the 5 and 6 baggers we saw earlier.
Yeah, and
some of these players, and they're down to 3 baggers now, but a lot of players are keeping it clean. That's the one thing that's really huge right now, to keep that spare game going.
Well, when you're early in a round, you can expect a lot less differential between pairs or lanes. Mm-hmm. When you're starting the 3rd or 4th game, that is when pairs start to open up, close down. Now, all of a sudden, the differences in the pairs come out. And then they'll actually come back together as they dry up and you run out of room and everybody plays 5th arrow.
Okay.
They'll come back together, to where most of the lanes are darn near the same again.
Yeah.
But in that middle portion where it depends on who was in front of you, what kind of ball they were using, what angles they were going at, how many people were bowling. It depends on how much differential you're going to cause.
Okay.
And to be, fearful of that is not the way to win. You kind of got to get lucky a lot of times and guess right, or get lucky and say, you know what, I feel that this section's going to do this or this section. And you go with it, and you better have some belief in what you come.
Well, like on tour, you see some of the guys, and some of the guys have the ball reps too, help them out with like who was on the pairs before you, that kind of thing. Were you a guy out there that were looking every once in a while? You look at that pairing sheet, or every once in a while you talk to a ball rep and go, "Hey, who was here a game or two ago?" That type of thing.
Yeah, well, Storm has ball reps that, in many cases, I know with Belmo, they chart everything in front of him.
Okay.
I was not one that mandated that or asked for it or really cared that much. Now, what I would do is at least the first 2 games, I knew how many left-handers were in front of me on the next pair.
Okay.
And then my third pair. That's what I wanted to know because that tells me how many shots are thrown from the right side. So if I have 2 left-handers in front of me, I know it's half as much. If I have 4 bowlers that I'm bowling with currently, that's going to be half as much breakdown as I just resolved.
Gotcha.
So I could probably move half as much to the right and then start from there and come back. See, now, if I saw both players using non-reactive or a lot of plastic balls going at 3 6-10s, 6-10s, and 10 pins, I would notice stuff like that and say, wait a minute. They've only got, let's say I look over at the score and I see 4 strikes out of 4 people in 8 frames.
Yeah.
Well, I know those plastic balls have been going at that 10 pin. I know right then and there that back end's going to be tighter. Right? It's just going to be tighter simply because you're throwing plastic balls right down the middle of the lane and it's going to the back end.
It's like an oil pump.
Right.
Basically.
And things like this you learn over time, and it'll be different for you guys that are watching, or girls. It'll be different from y'all because you have different elements that you're looking at. Now you have a lot more of the non-reactive stuff going on. You have a lot more rev rate, a lot more two-handers that are creating that rev rate. And so as I mentioned before, the disparity that you cause between pair to pair in the middle part of a round is going to be bigger for y'all than it even was with us.
Yeah.
If you think about it, in the 80s and 90s, we were all going down second arrow because we couldn't get a hook. There's no way.
Yeah.
So all pairs kind of, they not much disparity.
Right. It was just a matter of where you tweaked.
Yeah. Nowadays, my God, you can get pairs that are 10 or 12 board difference easily.
I was live streaming a regional last weekend down in Lockport, Illinois, outside Chicago, and it was they used the Monticelli pattern, which is basically designed for the PBA 50 tour. But they tried a little something, and they moved some oil. They added some oil to the pattern, so it was a 40-foot pattern with all these two-handers and stuff on there that could throw urethane. And there were some of these guys that were throwing reactive. They were literally moving 12 boards on the approach, depending right, if they knew how much urethane was going on there before them. I mean, that's insane. That's 2 arrows.
Yeah, you move a couple arrows just because a couple of hook and high rev players used urethane, and there's no other reason than that.
Yeah, it was interesting to see, and Steve Jarros was there, and Jarros made a nice run, got his way, one for the old guys. Made a nice run into Sunday before he ended. But it's just, I was talking afterwards, then he goes, man, trying to keep up with these kids nowadays and the moves you got to make on some of these parents, he goes, I wouldn't have done that 20 years ago. You didn't have to, like you said.
Right. Well, one of the things that I pride myself the most in is I've got to enjoy the environment that the kids are playing in now. So I can still see it because I bowled on it. I actually competed against those two-handers and against those non-reactive balls. And, the people say, well, he was using non-reactive. Well, in the 80s, we all did.
Right.
We used all plastic. If you use non-reactive, well, that was the big ball. That was balling up.
Got yourself a caramel white dot to make sure it would hook a little bit more, if I remember right.
Caramel white dot hooks more than the green one by one board.
Have you been to, speaking of old wood and stuff, have you been to Holler House? Have you ever bowled down there?
I have, yes.
You have bowled down there?
No, I've never bowled.
Oh, you never bowled, okay.
Never bowled. I went down and looked at it, and I got in the elevator, what do you call it, the phone booth.
Yeah.
The phone booth was, that's messed up. Folks, there's a phone booth there that you walk in one side and you walk out the other. And there's no elevator, but you come out on a different level, and then you're in the back. You're in the back of the building.
Yep.
And you're like, well, what
Where did I get
happened?
there? Yeah, they had that roll-off this year for the USA versus the World down at Holler House, and it's fun to be part of that production. And, to watch these guys when They're using reactive bowling balls on a hand-oiled lane that maybe has 7, 8 mils on it.
7 or 8 mils, nice.
And just watch the ball just hit and hook instantly. Tommy Jones is lofting 20 feet just to get the ball over the head so it wouldn't hook.
Mm-hmm.
And go from there. Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice shot right there. Oh,
Trip
he's
it.
trying to trip it. Yeah, Sam, you can tell he's back and forth, a little high, a little light, a little high, a little light.
And that's one of the parts of this sport that can just eat you a little bit more every shot that doesn't take all 10 down. It's finding a way to calm yourself back down and not overreact to it. Now he's there. You
Oh no, this is the 2-finger. What is it called? The 2-finger read on the golf.
To track the slope of the green. Yeah. Up.
No, he didn't believe that 7th finger. he's probably listening to us going, I wish they'd shut up there.
I was gonna say he's a few pairs away here, so I don't think he heard us. So he's looking at his hand right now, so I don't know if he just wasn't happy with the ball fit, and he's got a smile on his face though right now. You think somebody found you were talking about their bowling game, they get any more nervous out here? I don't know. I don't think that. You think that would get them nervous?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Norm Duke is going to break down your game, whether you like it or not.
Hey, let's just get there. I have my idols too. If Tiger Woods was talking about my golf game right now, I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to take a little potty break.
You're a single-digit handicap, correct?
Yes.
On the golf game, so
I'm not very good though.
I'm not very good. Breaking 100 is a good round for me.
Yeah, you see, I know the difference in what is competition, and
Yeah.
so when I golf, hey, look, I'm spending my money for a good time. It really isn't about what kind of score you come up with. Although I'd like to play good and all that.
Right.
But hey, when that cart girl comes around, I'm flagging her down now.
Yeah.
We're on the course.
Yeah, I got lucky enough last year. My wife went on a vacation through her work, so we were golfing down at Wildfire in Phoenix, where they used to have the LPGA tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a couple of gorgeous courses. They had a Palmer course and a Player course. Oh, both so great. Gary Player is a vicious asshole, though.
Yeah,
he had 180 bunkers on that golf course.
Yeah, I don't like Greg Norman either.
Yeah.
Both of them are like that.
You're already in a desert. You don't need 180 bunkers to go with the desert that you're going through.
I guess he didn't want lawnmowers on his course.
I guess not. What's your favorite?
My goodness.
Defer for a second. Favorite course you've ever played?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. There's no favorite.
Okay.
I played Pebble. Pebble was awesome. Kiowa Island, I've always enjoyed that. And when you get to see it on television, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I played Olympic Club in North Carolina. That was fabulous. I played that with Weber and Voss. That was great. And one of my all-time favorites, is northern Seattle to I got to think. You know what? That course just jumped right out of my head. I'll think about it in a second.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
But yeah, it's just got to be a nice change of pace, especially like if you're bowling at tournaments on the 50 tour for you guys. You guys always had those golf days. It's just kind of take it down a notch.
Oh, no doubt. Kayak Point.
Kayak Point.
Kayak Point. We used to drive about an hour and a half. It was me and Mike Edwards and Billy Young and Brian Voss, and we would do it every year that we went to Seattle. And
you didn't have to cross the border into Canada for it?
No,
it's before Canada. Okay, so it's got to be around that Bremerton area.
Oh, well, you take a left off of the main highway there, and you go for about 45 minutes into the sticks, and I'm telling you, it is a gorgeous course. And Paul Wheat used to go out there with us, for all you people from Oklahoma. But that was one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, somebody's typing in some type of Chinese or Japanese script on there, and I don't have my translator with me. So
here we got Kevin on his good lane. If you notice, he's got 3 opens in a row on the right lane. He's not liking the right lane.
No.
Left lane, strike, strike, strike. He'll take left lane home with him. And the right lane, he just can't get
that high backswing that started with.
Now still, we ask, what is going on? All right, well, I'll tell you. He's striking every time on one lane, splitting every time on another lane. I would venture to say they're not the same. It's not just him choking every time, no. But sometimes once you get it figured out, you choke because You got 2 holes up there.
Yeah.
You're trying.
Well, and then the worst part sometimes is you find the one lane and then you go back to the other lane and
you
that
miss
one's
it.
gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Once again, one of those things where why I'm surprised more PBA pros didn't travel with a psychiatrist like Tin Cup.
Oh, well,
I mean-
it's the same thing as golf, because
Yeah.
you can't have a driver day and an iron day and a chip day and a putt day all at once. You got to suck at something. All right,
hey.
here we go. We need a mark here, Kevin.
Come on, Kevin.
Oh, he tugged it. Oh, it laid there.
He got away with it.
Oh, look at him.
Sigh of relief.
I know exactly how he feels right now.
Hey. So we're going to take a little audio intermission again. Players are moving around and stuff, and we're going to have a little time before we get a full compliment back on this pair and a couple other pairs. So once again, trying to look for some more questions here. We'll ask. We got another one. At least one more that we can.
Do we
ask
have
here.
any
We'll just
questions
get the break.
right now? Let's
Yeah,
just
let's
address
do it.
one. Let's go.
When's the last time you used your plastic bowling ball as a strike ball in a tournament?
In a tournament, probably, I would say the Masters, maybe 80, 88.
Okay.
Now, I have used plastic since then, but I don't know, I don't know on television or whatever.
Right.
But I do know that when people talk about 2 hands and 1 hand, we used to throw blue dots because you wanted the straightest ball known to man. And we'd take a finger out of it so that you didn't get lift.
You took
And
the
we
middle.
would-
You took the ring finger out, left the middle
I
finger.
would
in.
take the ring out, but I'd put the middle finger in the ring finger.
Oh, really?
hole.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd change holes.
Yeah.
And I would throw it as hard as I could possibly throw it and try to keep it off the nose. Couldn't do it. It'd go in the nose every time. Now, if you put a 2-hander in that scenario, there'll be a 1-hander in 10 minutes.
Okay.
So when people say, well, why aren't y'all 2-handed? Or why?
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we were what we needed to be at the time. And right now, we have machines that dress the lanes, every single one of them the same. So there are a lot more consistency. So therefore, the power ball gets there. Second thing, they oil them every 6 games. We oil them once a day.
Right.
That's a big, huge little deal right there. And then when we're talking about heat, throwing hard, you can't throw it near as hard with 2 hands as I can throw it with 1.
Right.
Trust me.
Yep.
And so there's so many things that it just made the game and the way the pros played it back then and today different. And I got to bowl in both scenarios.
And
it was awesome.
And that's one thing we were talking about in this podcast in our part with Spare Time here in Milwaukee, and we were talking about that a few years ago. Would an Earl Anthony have been as good of a bowler today than he was in the 70s? And I say yes, because the love of the sport that everybody has behind it, they're going to find a way to adapt and get better. Now, Earl may not have never been a 2-hander, but he may have done something to increase his rev rate or do whatever to keep up with the tour game nowadays. I mean, you're a prime example of that. As you said, everything's changed so much. I mean, Count Gangler from 1908 used the ball with no finger and thumb holes, or one-stepped it.
Yeah.
He would have found a way to be,
and I
to
say
be
this
great
all
today.
the time. I say this. Back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, I think Belmonte would have won just as many majors as he's won right now. He'd have done it with 1 hand. And Walter Ray, in today, he would have won 47 or more. He would have done it with 2. And you've watched him on the senior tour.
Right,
as
I've
I
seen him
have.
shoot 300.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was a pair away. Thanks for reminding me of that. But listen, they would have done it like we did, and we would have done it like they did.
Yeah.
And I did. I got to see both, and I got to see a period of time where, like now, an E.J. Tackett,
Right.
and a Simo. They're just equal in their success. I would say right about now. 1 2-handed, 1 1-handed. We got Bomo right there. I mean, between these people throwing with 1 hand, throwing with 2 hand, I don't even know what's advantageous.
Right.
Is it more advantageous to do what EJ does and just create some mammoth RPMs with 1 hand? Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Or would it be better to do a Belmo style and actually back off to get 500 rev
Right.
rate? I don't know.
Or do what Simonson did in Delaware.
And
few
throw a
years
backup
back.
ball.
And throw it back. That was an amazing thing to see, because the environment he was in didn't let him get in front of the ball return
Oh, no doubt. And listen,
because it's so short there.
quick story, and then we'll get on to
Yeah.
our break. But I was in an airplane with Belmo, and we were in that 2-seater left side deal. And he asked me, he said, "Hey, mate, what's your perfect bowler?" And I said, "Okay, my perfect bowler is, let's say, Osku in his ability to throw with one hand at 25 mile an hour. Okay,
Right.
I'd like that. I could make some 7-10s that way. I want my spare game,
Yeah.
and I want a two-hander that can go both ways. And he said, mate, both ways.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I said left-handed and right-handed.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean throw it from the left side. I mean just be able to back it up. Or do it.
Right.
He said, no, mate, no. All right, so Anthony Simonson wins that event from the left side.
Yeah.
Belmo calls me, says, you called it, mate. And he said, all right, I'm in. And he is now working. Of course, it's a work in progress,
Right.
just like anything else is. But he's working on his left to right scenario.
He tried it in the U.S. Open in 2017, the last round of match play, because he felt he had nothing to find on the right side. But he didn't have anything drilled up with it. He was trying to use his bowling balls they normally had. So you're trying to, you can't flip the bowling ball
You
around.
gotta have
obviously.
one or two in the
Right.
sack back here that you can go to.
And I
That,
remember-
yeah,
And I remember watching you, obviously Rhino Page, good friend of yours. I remember watching Rhino Page, who ended up winning that year, just kind of going like, what the hell is he trying to do? I go, apparently he's trying to keep up with you, Rhino, because
apparently so.
you're doing pretty darn well.
Him and Butcher wasn't having any
Right,
problem there.
that's right. Those
Exactly.
two weren't having any problems that year, so no doubt. All right, we're going to take a short audio intermission. By the time we get back, hopefully Doug and Rob there get about the 6 or 7 bagger.
Well, they have 3 right now. Let's come back at 6.
All right, thanks, Norm. So once again, we're in Game 5, almost done with Game 5, heading into Game 6. That'll be the final game of this block. Now, there is another round of competition this evening, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern is that start time. It's going to be a little smaller squad, but you'll still be able to see if there's favorites that you have on that next squad. There's still people you're going to be able to see it. There will not be a main feed. So if you're enjoying my golden tones, and we'll get Norm back in here in a few minutes as well. There'll be some quality players on our next squad, including Ildemaro Ruiz, Jazz Weems. Wow, that's a couple of big names there, no doubt about it. and some other players taking the lanes as well. So solid squad. If you're planning on coming to the PBA LBC National Championships in Bolero, hey, you get to see every pair in play, every squad, every day before you come here and bowl. So, that can help you make your game plan out a little bit. Obviously, nothing replaces the experience of actually bowling on the lanes. And I think, intel is good. I don't think these people bowling the opening weekend are really losing out on any of the experience by, being the opening weekend. They're not guinea pigs or anything. It's not like they came to this tournament without knowing what the lane pattern was. PBA released that lane pattern months ago. And there was a video on YouTube, on the PBA YouTube channel, if you want to go back and look at it, for that lane pattern reveal. And you can see exactly what everyone here is bowling on. And hey, if you have a bowling center that has a Kegel machine as well, you can replicate that pattern practice now. We talked about it earlier with Norm Duke. Charlie Mitchell has this pattern on all his lanes at Bayside Bowl. That's all he's oiling all summer, whether it's open play or his couple of summer leagues that he has. They're all bowling on this PBA LBC National pattern. You can get the numbers right from the PBA.com website, PBA.com/LBC tournament. And you can download that pattern information if your bowling center's friendly enough to load that in your oil machine for you. You can practice on. Now, obviously, you may not have the same lane surface in your bowling center, but you can get a general idea, and especially if you're traveling from across the country, give you a little better idea on what equipment to bring. And there you go, coming onto your screen now as you see it. PBA.com/LBC tournament. All the information you need for the PBA LBC National Championships, whether it's how to enter, what the lane pattern is, how to enter in singles, how to enter in team, how to enter in doubles, how you can take advantage of practice sessions on this lane pattern. All at that tournament site, and of course, all the information you need to have a good time in Milwaukee for a weekend. Best part about this LBC National, for a lot of people, they get to come to Milwaukee and they get to see the city. They're not spending the entire weekend in the bowling center, or 2 days of the weekend in the bowling center. You get your 6 games done in one morning, afternoon, or evening, and you have the rest of your time that weekend to enjoy everything that the Milwaukee area has to offer. Bring us in. There we go. This is, you get some days in your bowling broadcasting career you never forget. And Norm, you're adding to it today for me.
Aw.
It's a good day because I never really get, I get a chance to talk to you here and there after a round or that type of thing in a tournament, but I never got to sit in a booth with you for 3, 4, 5, 6 games and just not even talk bowling. I mean, just talk life and what these people are experiencing today and how good of a time people seem to be having, even if they're not bowling the best here today, because they know they've got a lot of the Milwaukee area to enjoy the rest of the weekend.
They know they're on extra frame, so they can't kick a ball return. I mean, they're like, you hear people talking to themselves right before, and they're like, oh, geez, help me not go off in front of the cameras. And yeah, we used to think about that.
Yeah, and then Eric Pearson was just here. He was the tournament director for this tournament, and I think he almost fell over because one of the players out here complimented how well this lane pattern was holding up.
I know. He almost fell over. He's like, what?
Have you?
Never.
Yeah, I don't think. Did you ever compliment the lane guy anytime during your PBA career?
Never. Of course, I never chastised him either. I never complimented.
Okay. So, but yeah, that's the varied styles. That's the nice thing about this pattern. The varied styles that are out there. I mean, right now we're watching the power players. We're watching a young lady take to the lanes right here with Madeline, and everybody's got. Yeah, look at that. She's on the front 4 right now. Oh no, she's not. She's on 3 spares. I'm sorry. Somebody else. Michael's on the front 4.
Well, she's going to have to be on 4 spares now.
Yeah.
At least she's leaving them in clusters.
So down to this last game, and
yeah, there's one thing that you couldn't do when you bowl, or you can't do. I say it's always I couldn't, or past tense, but you can't do. You can't compliment a lane man when you're on tour, because every single tour player would take a double take at that, and they'd like, oh, now I know.
But that's the thing. You still, even if the lane, like here, everybody knows what the lane pattern is. PBA was very transparent. They published it in February. People have had 3 months if they had a home center that laid out the shot and they could practice. You still get here. You know what everything is. You still have to execute for 60 frames.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah. You can know everything you want beforehand.
Yeah. In fact, when we get to day 3, day 4 of an event, there isn't much that we're guessing about at that point.
Yeah.
And we still know, God, wouldn't it be great to go 8 clean today? Wouldn't it be great to go 6 games over 200, all of them? Wouldn't it be great to do? And it is the hardest thing. And you find yourself, after 4 frames, game 1, you already done everything you said you're not going to do.
Yeah.
You already got 2 holes in a row. You're already aggravated at everything.
So there's a question in the chat about how long you've been with Storm now.
Uh-huh.
How many? It's been decades now, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, but the key was when I got on Storm.
Okay.
I was pretty decorated, and I just called up Dave Sims and I said, Dave, I want to be on Storm staff, and he said, well, that's great, Norm, but we don't have any room. And I said, what do you mean don't have any room? He said, we don't have any budget. And I'm thinking, okay, you don't have any budget, I get it. Man, timing was bad or something.
So this is like late 90s and like after they...
No, this is in the 2000s.
Oh, in the 2000s, okay.
Yeah, and so the next year came and it wasn't, 2 or 3 months, and he said, Norm, we don't have the budget for you. And I said to him on that phone call, I said, I don't think you get it. I chose you.
Yeah.
And he really didn't know how to take that. And Dave and I, we are just so good friends now.
Yeah.
But he didn't know really what I was saying. So I went out and I just barbecued the field with this Storm ball for a whole year.
Okay.
And I wasn't on staff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, he called me up and he says, okay. He says, I get it. Now I get it. And he basically said, name your price, because he just said, you called this. You said, I chose you. And boy, did you ever.
Yeah.
And then now I've been on staff with them ever since. I have had 0 bad experiences. 0. Everything that I've had anything to do with that company has been a blessing. And so I'm so very, very happy and lucky. Lucky.
And now, I mean, I've seen that they've sent you to youth clinics. Like you said, you were here in Wisconsin back in March, the high school championships.
Military events, the TAG.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. They do, and I've never been affiliated with a ball company or anything like that. what Storm does with all those military championships is amazing to me. And the number of people that come to Vegas for it, that's the most amazing part. My goodness, there's a couple thousand. There's
2,000 people.
2,000 people.
They're all staying at the same hotel I am. And so you go downstairs at South Point, and all you see is a sea of name shirts. So it's a busy week for me. And I enjoy so much getting up and being around bowling, but not having to train for it, Phil, or not having to worry or be pressured, because that's all I ever knew.
Yeah.
And when I finally got a moment when the pressure wasn't there, I absolutely knew the difference in the feel. I like this feel much better than the other one.
I remember we were sitting at Bayside last year before the team event started, and sat down next to you. We're both enjoying a beverage, and you just looked at me and you said, "I'm done after this." And I looked at you for a second, and you said again, "I'm done after this." And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind, I fully believed you. It was like, I go out on your own terms,
Hey,
man.
that was a good way to go out, too.
Yeah.
West Malai got me a big bear hug.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a big bear hug when you got Norm in your hand. Okay?
Right.
It's a little bear hug, but he's a big old boy.
He's a big old boy, yeah. Once again, another guy who would arm wrestle. So are you looking forward? How tough is it going to be to go back to Bayside as just the manager of the Dallas Stars this year?
Good question. Get that spare right there. Oh, my gosh. She was clean all the way up into that, and she threw a pretty good shot at that spare. I don't know, Phil. Okay. I don't know. I know this. Last year was my worst performance in the league as a player ever. And I know I could have been a difference maker, especially on the telecast. We lost 3 in a row to get flipped, and I know a lot of that was me, and I could do nothing about it. As much as I had trained and as good as I thought I was awful.
That 10-pin just wouldn't go for you every time, it seemed like.
Yeah, and it's not only that. It's the things that I expected from my performance was just not there. So I felt like for the first time in many, many years, I felt embarrassed. And I felt like I was armed with nothing. And I couldn't wait for that event to be over so that I could not feel that again. Well, then I may come back this year and go, wow, well, yeah. No, I hope not. That's just a different atmosphere. When you're a player and you're at Bayside and they've got the signs and the outfits and the you got mascots back here, and oh boy, is that an atmosphere. I get to experience it only as a manager from now on.
It's not going to surprise me at the first time that you get introduced on TV as the manager that the thank you Norm chants will start huge once again.
I want to know what they're going to do when I pull a guy on my team and I sub him. I go, all right, you're done. I'm coming in.
Bringing it.
I'm coming in.
No taps his own right arm. Right. I'm coming in.
Tommy Jones, you're out. Can you imagine the look on his face? Oh, man.
I would pay to see that.
You know what? I'd pay even more. I'd pay to see Bill O'Neill's face if I said that to Tommy Jones. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love those guys.
Hey, here's a quick question in the chat. Somebody, Supernova Team has a question about Jester getting into bowling gear now that he's starting to bowl regularly. He's bowling twice a week, but doesn't have his own gear yet. So what do you suggest the beginner starts with? Yeah,
I'd go with the mid-price bowling balls. You're going to want to take one of those because it's going to teach you how to hook it, and it will hook if you can hook it. It's not going to give you, let's say, a certain motion through the front and a certain motion from the back and this and that, but you're not even there yet. You're trying to find your motion right now. And if you don't have your own gear yet, then you're going to be absolutely pleasantly surprised when you get it.
Yeah.
Because the game changes. If you don't have your own bowling ball, your own bowling shoes, this is everybody in the world. If you don't have that stuff, then you're really not bowling like we see it. You can't fall in love with bowling with a ball that's got 10 on it.
Right.
You can't do it. If your shoes have 9.5 on the back ankle, you're not falling in love. No.
And it's not that expensive of a sport to get started in. Really, if you compare it to equipment in other sports and everything?
Well, it's expensive. It's just that if you compare it to the others, it's not that bad.
Right.
Now, they're all expensive, is my point. And it's no different than any other sport. Hey, look, you got to have the equipment and the gear, otherwise you're playing. You're not competing.
Yeah. So there's...
Oh, you got to get this. Got to get this. Nice, Bear. Okay. She's back on it after those 2 back-to-back opens.
Oh, somebody in the chat Motive Bowler. Going to be here July 8th. Excited for the tournament, not just the road trip. So, there's some. Oh, it depends on which direction you're coming in. Sometimes coming around through Chicago, that can get a little ugly on the time and the scenery. But that's, you see all those Chicago Bears signs all over the place in football season. That's my own personal opinion. Driving from up north's gorgeous. So.
And there's so much to do here in Milwaukee. I mean, it really is a sleeper when it comes to. Well, this time of year. Anyway.
Right. No, there may be a little time spent at Holler House by me, and after some of these squads are done the next few weekends, good old Kathy and Tom at Holler House know how to host down there. And if you've never been there, and you are a bowling aficionado, want to go to just unique bowling places, you got to see the 2 lanes in the basement at Holler House. They're open 6 days a week. They're always closed Mondays. Except for our Sport League team sweeper. They let us in on Monday nights. They were nice enough to open.
Yeah, that's
for
a
us.
unique place.
Yeah.
Very, very unique.
So, and there's another great bowling center nearby, Castle Lanes in Racine, that's been in Bowler's Journal's 95 Places to Bowl Before You Die. Mr. Schleybach walking by. So.
Yeah, I was starstruck when he walked by. I wanted him to sign my shoe.
I wish I could hit it like him, but my wrist couldn't do that. No doubt. So,
you got anything else?
Let's see.
I'm asking Phil if he has anything else.
They're heading in from Toledo. Toledo, Ohio. Talk about another great bowling city. The first Nationals I ever bowled was in 1991 in Toledo. So, the Glass City is always a great bowling city. The originator of the 40 frame game, I remember that as well. That fun tournament, it's a fun little thing.
You know what I think about when I think about Toledo, Ohio? Earl Anthony.
Yes.
That's the only thing that comes to first. I mean, that's the first thing always, because it was a national championship. It was, so hard. It was so hard. You just wanted even par any way you could get it. Yep. Earl would get in there and shoot 250 over every round, and it wasn't. All the other lefties in the field were starving.
Yeah.
I mean, Albee is under, and Cook is under, and over here's under, and everybody's under, and everybody's under. Earl, he's just yawning.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And he made an impression on me in that facility. Oh, my gosh.
It's one of the things and I hate to say it, it's one of the things that you remember where you were when you heard something happen. I remember exactly where I was when I heard Anthony passed away. I was on the 16th hole at Oakwood Golf Course when somebody got the call on their cell phone saying that Earl had passed. And we were all just stunned. It was a bowling center golf outing, and everybody was just stunned. And there was just silence on the golf course for the next 2 holes. Everybody's finishing a scramble, so 2 more holes, and everybody was just starting to share Earl. The times they met Earl and stuff like that in the clubhouse. It was just an unfortunate but still amazing bonding point for the bowling community. Because Earl was past his, he was still doing some commentating here and there. He's well past his competition days, but everybody's talking about when they met him at this center in Milwaukee when he was here for the Miller High Life touring around, when they used to do that tour every year, because the guys that were defending champions didn't have, they guaranteed him a lot of money to show up and tour around Milwaukee.
Well, Phil,
instead of going,
his solid 9 on the telecast, it cost him $10,000 many years ago when he had the crew cut.
Yeah.
That is why I went and became a pro bowler.
Really?
Because I was watching at my mom and my dad's facility in Mount Pleasant, Texas, which, by the way, burnt not to the ground, but it hit a big fire about 4 days ago.
Oh, no.
For all those of you near Mount Pleasant, Texas, we're thinking about you. But I was behind the counter, and I was watching this on television. When he left the solid 9, I went, what? And then they said, that cost him $10,000. And that moment right there, I went, hold it. He could have won $10,000 with a strike. Well, that's how I equated it as a 7-year-old. I went, he lost $10,000 because he didn't throw a strike. And I turned the lane on right behind me, and I told my mom I'm going to be a pro bowler, and I'm going to bowl Earl Anthony when I grow up. And, Lord, my very first telecast ever, my first game ever is against Earl Anthony. My mom's in the front row.
Wow.
Many of y'all have heard that story before. For the youngsters, though, that was monumental, just watching him leave the solid 9. All right, fast forward, 2 or 3 years on the tour, I'm there in Toledo watching him barbecue everybody. And it just stood out how much better he was at the time. And I'll never forget it.
You know, there's kind of some similarities between Earl's career and now Kevin McCune, because both of them, if it wouldn't have been for injuries playing baseball, may not have ever gotten into bowling the way they have, because they were talking to Kevin McCune after he won the Players' Championship, and Kevin goes, what's some of your memories from when you were in a bowling alley when you were younger? And he just went, just hanging out with my dad and my grandpa. I really wasn't bowling all that again because baseball was my sport.
Yeah.
And then he gets an injury and then decides to take bowling. And the amount, his curve from where he really started taking bowling seriously to winning a Players' Championship isn't that long.
It's not. No. And
it's
Earl
4 or 5 years.
Earl didn't even throw a bowling ball until he was 21.
Yeah.
Heck, I'd been on tour for 3 years. I was in year 4 at 21.
And Earl's first time out, he came home with a bunch of zeros on the paycheck at the pay window, a bunch of zeros. And
everybody did
practice
that.
more. Oh,
yeah, everybody did that. We all suffered early.
We can have fun with it. There's a pair coming over now. Well, we saw Kyle Zagar a little earlier. He's over here on 27-8, and they're just getting ready to start their 6th game. Nick Parr's on there, Zeke Bate, Zach Tackett. We could just mess with them right now and tell them we're going to critique every single shot. We're going to keep
I
this
say
whole
we
game
don't
on.
mess with them. I say we just do it.
We just do it?
We can.
All right.
What are they going to do, fire me?
No, it's true. So they should be starting momentarily here. So we'll let these last couple of shots happen on 29 and 30.
All right.
And then, here we go. So, Zach, I bet you Kayla's beating Zach right now for the first 5 games. I'm going to ask her to find out. Hold on 1 second.
Well, that's a pretty good game right there. That's all I want you to know. Right here in front of us, 100. She's going to get 169 with 1 strike. Maybe 168 with 1 strike. It's not easy. 167, but with 1 strike. Oh, my gosh, that could be so much worse. She was just grinding.
So Kayla just got off a 160 game, so now Zach's in the lead. I didn't get the official pin totals, but let's see, what do we got up there? Zach's 171 over through 5, and he's not high on the pair because Zeke Bates 178 over through 5.
No, it's Zeke Bate, though. I mean, it is Zeke.
Right. Maybe Zeke will bust out a dance move. Let's get over to that pair.
For those of you that do not know Zeke Bate, he was Richie at the time, Dick Allen's doubles partner. Did they win?
No,
they didn't win.
They finished 3rd, I believe, that year.
Yeah,
so they made the show at Bayside.
I'm saying this. I hope Richie or Dick is listening. Zeke carried him the whole way.
Oh, Dick will be the first one to admit it. So. I mean, Zeke, he didn't have a great year on tour this year. He had a lot of rabbit squads he had to bowl, and it's always tough getting out of the PTQs, and he's been busting tail working on his game, so there he is, got the salute from Zeke. Always good to see Zeke Bate.
Oh, I have some Zach Tackett info.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I have some.
All right.
What do you call it? Tea. I have some
tea to spill?
Yeah. He and I bowled a match in the Masters in this facility.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, okay. So he had to be, really, I mean, he's not that old now, but
you know what?
He had to be a teenager.
I'm Phil Brilo in it here. I made that up. Oh. No, it was the other guy down there, Randy Weiss.
Randy Weiss, okay.
Zach and I bowled a match last year, I believe. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
In the Masters.
But
it was in Reno.
It wasn't here. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was here. So. You know what? I'm 59 years old, and my memory's just not like it used to be.
Well, there's I mean, just tour memories alone, 40 years of tour memories, let alone everything. That's a cool T-shirt, by the way, at the H5G booth.
Oh, I love that.
I'm buying one of those on the way out the door.
I just bought some. I bought a half dozen.
40 years, 40 title. Oh yeah, I'm buying that and wearing that probably in the booth tomorrow.
Yeah, they put folks. They put the image of the trophy on the front, and it's called the Duke. And then they commemorated it with some things on the front, subtle, very subtle stuff. But they made it in colors that we can sign, and they look really good signed. And so I'm here at least today and tomorrow. Maybe I'll be coming back. I don't know, but hey, check out the High Five booth. They've got all kinds of PBA LBC memorabilia.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be interested in all of it. Plus, there's pros that bowl, even though they're not pros right now. Like this is Zeke Bate, who's throwing it right now. He bowls with us. You can get them guys to sign that stuff.
Oh, I got to bring
So you pronounced his name, Kyle.
Zagar.
Yeah,
last
Zagar.
time, yeah.
Okay. He throws it pretty doggone good, doesn't he?
He won at least 2 Wisconsin high school state singles championships, if not a third.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, he's a.
So he's like winners bracket familiar.
Yeah, he's one of those kids that he's barely 22.
No way.
I mean, yeah, 22, maybe 23. I mean, if he decided he really wanted to get super serious with the tournaments and stuff like that. I got the shot before we started. You'll see it up here before we started the opening ceremonies today.
Yeah, that's the Duke, the trophy itself, the very first one. It's so honored, man. I tell you what.
Yeah.
That's cool as heck from my side. Wow.
And I warned them already that you said rub the head for luck.
You just rub the head for luck. I'm telling you, you'll feel it.
So they're gonna make sure. Yeah. So they're gonna do something to make sure that they, in case they don't want you losing any more hair up there than than both of us already have. So even if it is brass hair on the brass on the brass statue of you on top of that trophy.
Yeah. So when you fly here, you just keep those disinfected wipes, and then when you get here, you can wipe the head off before you take a shot.
Yeah, a couple of people said, really sad they closed Imperial Lanes in Toledo. Where
I know,
those titles and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Here's a question. What's the lowest score you had in your PBA career? Can you remember?
Yes, I can. I was in the lead by 200 pins in that very center, Imperial Lanes, in the national championship. And it was like 2 games before the end on Thursday night, or Friday. No, Thursday night.
Okay.
Thursday night. And I bowled 117. Now, I just finished with 279 to get to 210 pins ahead of Mike Miller. And I bowled 117 the very next game. And I'm now only 3 pins in the lead. So I lost.
Wow.
He shot like 290 or whatever it was.
Goodness.
And I shot 117, and he almost took the lead.
Wow.
I ended up still leading it. Mike beat me the next day on television.
Okay.
So that was the year that he won the national championship.
I never heard of the swing that big in one game for first and second. Almost 200 pins.
Yeah, I was
My
210 in the lead, and then I wasn't. But Bill Hall was with me at the time. I think we were either power play or weapon at the time. I don't remember which one it was. And Bill and I, both of us, back then it was before ball reps. So I just had Bill. I don't know what you would call him. He wasn't a coach. He wasn't a ball rep. He was just.
Was he on the truck at the time or no?
I don't know. I don't even remember.
He was on the truck.
He may have been on the truck, but we were on the same team at the time, so maybe not. And he said, Norm, I watched every doggone shot you threw there, and you just pured them all. And I chased it right. I kept leaving 2 8-10s every time. And he said, that's one of the best games you bowled. And I looked at him and I said, I think you're right, because it's easy to bowl a really bad game when you have no room at the pocket.
Right.
Heck, I was pure in those shots for 117.
Well, it wasn't a Doherty 100. So.
No. All right, here's Zach Tackett again. This is, of course, EJ's brother. And he doesn't leave anything.
It was so cool. They had a bracket board at the Players' Championship for the players assigned, hand signed. So the first round match was Zach versus Kevin.
Not
EJ.
Not EJ and not Eugene.
Yeah.
I saw both
So
of them.
he kept it all the way. Yeah, it was beautiful because after Kevin won, he kept it. He goes, I can't change it. I'm like, don't change it. Just
Don't
keep
change
going.
it. And so now the leaderboard looks like not Eugene, not EJ, and you don't even know who's bowling if you don't know.
Right. But you look at, you talk about another murderer's row going through, a tournament final. How about that for Slim?
What a shot. Man, this guy can really, he put some mustard on that ball.
Yeah, he took down a regional title again last year.
When the head pin hits the 10 pin and it's still airborne, that's above me.
That's above most people. To watch the pin. Belmo says make them fly. There's not too many people unless they're out on the PBA tour that can really make them fly like that on a regular basis.
I'll tell you what, though, this, Zeke Bate, I've watched him for now, I don't know, a dozen years. Whoa, he just posts every shot up. He can play anywhere on the lane. He is mentally really solid. He doesn't give many spares away. I mean, I am looking for some serious stuff from this kid. Now, he's getting older, and the older he gets without trying. I mean, what is he? He bowls a tournament every once in a while with us. Yeah, I wish we got to see him for 2 or 3 or 4 years, let him get his.
Well, it's like a Patrick Dombrowski, part-time player on the tour. He's got a solid job with family at home and stuff like that. And
good point.
He hits a bunch of regionals, but Patrick made another TV show recently again too. So that the kid can play, and it's making that commitment, because you can be Zeke Bate. I'll call him one of the top 100 players in the country.
Okay.
Not easy to make a living on the PBA Tour if you're a top 100 player in the country. You got to be a top.
You're going to lose money.
Yeah, you're going to be even a top 50 player.
No, but he's going to work from 100 to what? See, that's what I'm looking at. Is give him 3 years, give him 2 years, let him get settled out there. But watch how he just posts that shot.
And he liked it. I mean, that fist pump was coming back at 30 feet.
Yeah, and he got that little trail leg kick wobble thing.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Zagar does here on the old 3-7. No doubt he's going for it. I mean, nothing to lose at this point. Last game, you got a couple guys in your pair ahead of you, and he can't get it done.
No, we're going for it every time. I don't care if it's a 2-10 or a 3-7, and you're not going for it. Well, go for it.
Pin count be damned. Let's peek in Kayla Crawford once again. We just talked about her. How about starting with the front three? There she goes. All 10 back again for the young lady. Now from Indiana I made the mistake during the Players' Championship of saying that Kayla was Zach's fiance. I got sternly talked to by Zach after that was complete. Just my girlfriend right now. Just my girlfriend. Sorry, Zach. Didn't mean to hit a nerve.
Well, I mean, you got to give the guy a chance to propose. Hey, you can't get on your knee for him. Come on, man. I call party foul.
You want my wife, the lovely Mrs. Phyllis, she's also known as Gary. I never got down on a knee when I proposed. It was in the see. Look at her laugh, Norm. Look at her laugh. I'm not gonna. She won't ever be on camera. She designed her own engagement ring. We got it. She's waiting in the car, nervous. I'm stopping to pick up a beverage, and she finally looks at me and she goes, "Well," and I just took the ring in my hand. I go, "So you want it?" And I tossed it in her lap. I got out and got beverages for us.
Nice.
So shortly after we get married, get one of those Nokia cell phones. She gets it. She has a program for me. When I turn it on, every time I turn it on, what does it say? So you wanna?
So you wanna?
So.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, 23 years going on 24 on So You Wanna. It works. Come on, Kayla. Flat 10.
Yeah, she got that in just a pinch, maybe mishit it as well, and just didn't get the roll on
Look
it.
at the Schlebach guy again, showing off. But not too often that you had to get in front of a ball return, Norm.
No, I just walked around it.
Around it?
Yeah, Weber and I, we'd dance around it. There are others, Voss, he would stand in front. Chris Warren would stand in front often.
Yep.
Chris would stand on the left side of the doggone thing and walk around it. I mean, my man could hook it.
Yeah, we got a few quality players. I mean, you look at the totals up here. They were walking in. It was about a 230 average for their first 5, a little over. So it's not like runaway scoring pace by these quality players where it'd be a house pattern. There was a local tournament here, and the Zagars.
Oh, she missed that spare. She missed that 10 pin.
The Zagars were in it. It was on a house pattern down in Kenosha. The field, a 16-player field in match play, averaged 248 as a field.
No, they
house
didn't.
pattern.
They were gifted 248. They didn't average.
Right.
Nothing.
I thought that. I
hey,
heard
look,
that
at
number.
some point, you just got to stop and say, you know what? When it's like making the golf hole the green.
Right.
Hit the green, it's in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a little more governance. I'm just telling you. Yeah. This game is such a great game when it's not checkers.
Yeah. But I just heard that. I shook my head. I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, that's just the case of right ball, wrong ball in your hand. It's not even a case of your skill anymore when it gets to that point.
He got lucky there. Yeah. That's when you're playing lanes right, though. Hey, when you miss hit it just a little bit and you say, come on back, and it gets there with ease. Yeah, that's why the guys get 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 in a row.
I've never seen Nick Parr Bowl before today. I saw him a lot of years on tour helping out with Motive as a ball rep, but I don't remember ever seeing him throw a ball before. He throws it pretty nice. There you go.
I don't believe I know a ball rep that doesn't throw it pretty nice.
Yeah.
Maybe Callahan. Sorry, Jimbo. I love you too.
I was gonna say I've never seen Jim Bowley. I mean, I remember Del Bowley and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
a couple of the guys now for Storm.
Well, even Bill Hall didn't bowl much because of his knees.
Yeah.
But he'd bowl one game here or 2 games there. My man could bowl. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
See, that was 3-7 coming
Yep.
back, and he just said, I'm going to hit it harder. Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes brute force isn't the solution.
Here you go. Zeke again on the right lane here, lane 28.
He's got that wiggle to stay nice and loose in the shoulders.
I'm telling you, man, this guy is brutally good.
Yeah.
Oh, he tugged it. Now you got hold. All right, so he probably won't miss now.
It's funny watching like these guys that have been on tour or regional. They don't make the best quality shot. The pattern's a little forgiving. They know it. You see their reaction on the way back, they're not lying to themselves out here. It's like, I kind of got away with that one. Okay,
Oh, no doubt about it. As soon as you get away with, let's say, one on one lane and one on the other, now you get loose. Yeah, at that point, that's when you go, all right, thank you. And then you start puring them because you feel like you've got a little room.
Yeah, can't wait to get back. Did a regional last year at the Easy Bowl down in Bluffton for where the Tackett family owns that center. And, it's a center that when they bought it needed some work, and they've been putting the work into it. It's getting there. It's really nice. It's a great place to just watch bowling. It's wide open. The concourse is nice and wide, so when they have a regional there's plenty of room for the players. There's plenty of room for the fans, and it makes for a really nice hosting experience. So can't wait to get back to Easy Bowl once again. It'll be a good time down there. I like doing these regionals. That when I get the okay from the PBA to do them, because you get to see some of the superstars out there that bowl a lot of the regionals.
Yeah.
And then you get to see the Weekend Warrior. The Weekend Warrior guys are 90% of the PBA membership, and it's cool seeing these guys like the Schlaybox and the Zeke Bates.
Right, and
if out there week after week.
If in my younger years, if we didn't have so many tournaments, I would have done that as well.
Yeah.
I didn't bowl very many regionals. Maybe an average of one every other year, one every 4 or 5 years sometimes.
Right.
Well, the reason is because I had so much in front of me that we needed time off.
Yeah.
We didn't need more. Well, nowadays the guys go really hard for 2 solid months, and then they back them out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, now what?
Right.
I just went, all I ever did every day was this. Now you're saying you can't do that anymore? Well, now they got to find regionals. They got to find events like this too, by the way. This is a great event for them.
Yeah, something tells me when July 17th rolls around with that PBA Top 50 points list this year, it's going to be a pretty big crowd watching them on,
It's going to be packed.
And it's so unique, too, because you're going to know who's going to be on top in 6 games.
Plus, a lot of them are going to have those people down there bowling as their doubles.
Right.
And they're already going to be in.
Yeah.
They're just adding with their doubles.
Yeah. Zach's in with his brother. Zach. Stone a 9.
Oh, that's why I don't bowl right there, ladies and gentlemen. You ask me, do I miss it? I don't miss that.
Nope. But Zach paid the entry fee for him and his brother for the doubles, and now this is kind of cool because this is going to be first squad, last squad. Just wait and see if
Zach may have paid the entry for him and his brother to bowl with the other. I mean, he may have paid both sides.
Yeah.
In fact, if I was EJ, I'd have told him, no, you got to pay them both. You can't reach into this sauce jar without putting a tip in. I love those two.
But that's a nice part because anybody can do that here. If you haven't bowled the PBA LBC National Championships yet, you get here, you pay the entry fee for doubles for you and EJ or you and whoever. Bam, you're doubles partners.
Yeah, I mean, you can be doubles partners with Belmo, EJ, and Barnes.
Yeah,
that
get
could
be your team.
Yeah, and don't forget Simo.
Right,
got to put some Simo in there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can wheel them around if you want to have one team with with EJ and Simo and Rash, and EJ Simo Belmo, and then Belmo Simo Rash.
That's just unbelievable.
You can wheel them, so you maximize your
bring a
combinations.
bunch of money, though, because each one of those costs you a little bit.
Yeah. But for the people that like to, live large and take a chance on stuff, there's a lot of
how
money
much is
to
it?
be won here.
Is it $50?
$50, yeah. And
For the
then
doubles?
Yeah, for the doubles, yeah. So.
Oh, shoot, man.
Yeah.
$50 to bowl with EJ Tackett?
Right.
All right, count me in.
Absolutely. And it's your first 3 games. Games 1, 2, 3, you take that total, you take EJ's total, bam, there's your doubles total. So
Yeah.
team, last 3 games. Oh my.
Ooh. Oh, so good. So, if you're gonna name drop like we've been doing, all right, so I would have to have EJ, Simo. If Belmo's coming, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Prather.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me some of that.
He always
I
gets
got to
good.
have me some courtesy left-handed. I'd have Packy and Buttriff right out. Yeah.
How about Packy's year too?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Out of nowhere. You can't even really say out of nowhere because he was making his mark for the first
Yeah, it wasn't
couple
out
years
of
in his-
nowhere,
yeah.
but it takes us time to figure it out.
Yeah.
It takes everybody time. It took me a little longer than most. Took Walter and Emleto a little longer than most. Seems like the longer it takes you to figure it out, once you do, you make more of it. But
yeah.
I tell you what, so many of us have struggled early, and that is part of it. You got to learn how to play for a living. Certain people, Weber was one on the golf tour. You got Scheffler, who didn't seem to have to pay many dues.
Yeah.
That's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Tiger, Tiger
Right.
didn't pay any dues either.
Yeah, it's just.
I guess they paid their dues when they were in their teens, and they were just training that much, but they didn't struggle and have to learn how. It seemed like they knew how when they got there. And Barnes, he bowled so much as an amateur, a pro amateur,
Right.
that when he got to our tour, we knew he was top 5 before he ever threw a ball.
Hey, here's a question in the chat. Favorite storm ball you ever threw?
Woo, man, I tell you what, I got some that I won some really good tournaments with, but Crux Pearl. Now, see, I like that ball more than most people because most people are in 15 pounds.
Yeah.
I was a 16-pounder. 15-pounder guys did not like that ball for them. And I'm like, this is the greatest ball. And I didn't realize it was the difference. So a lot of the balls that the guys that use 15-pounders really, really love, we don't like them at all. Stu and I are 16 pounds, Stu Williams. So we don't like those at all. And so we use different balls than they do, it seems like, just because we're getting differentials to match, the weight of the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we got a 6-pack alert here. Hold on.
6-pack alert.
6-pack. Actually, we were past the 6-pack. Matt Gasson over there on 31-32 on the front 6.
Yeah, that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
It's probably his 3rd time to do it this set.
Probably.
We just don't know.
Can you imagine if Paps was giving a 6-pack to everybody during the LBC? There'd be people walking out here needing a designated driver.
Yeah, I think we need to call him up and sign the deal.
Yeah, there's some good quality PBA sponsorship over the last couple of years. Guaranteed rate and PBR. And how about that? Front 7 for Gasson.
Yeah, I played golf with Matt 2 or 3 times, cross-handed, on his real swing. And he hits it. And he hits it 300. He hits it 300 yards.
How?
With the left hand low.
How? I just threw my shoulder out trying to
left hand low. 300. It is just beautiful to watch, too. There was another hockey player. I know Weber was really, really good friends. God, I want to tell you his name, but, in St. Louis, they like their hockey.
Yeah,
right?
oh, yeah.
And Pete knows all the hockey players because he's Pete.
Yeah.
And we played with this one. He's the same way, cross-handed, hit it 300. I'm cross-handed every once in a while and just try it out. I hit it 0. It's weird. Matt Gason, ladies and gentlemen, he can hit that golf ball.
Senior U.S. Open at Suncoast, John, the last time when the Blues won the Cup against the Bruins, and I think it was 19. John Weber goes, I don't ever bet, I don't ever gamble, and he goes, I have money on the Blues to win in Boston, Game 7. So Jeff Goodger and I both went like, oh, John Weber's going to bet this. We're going to bet it.
We're going to bet it too. Yeah,
it came through. So I mean, the whole the whole Weber family loves their hockey as well. So.
No All right, doubt. Good shot at that spare there. I tell you what, she's in grind mode right now.
Yeah, she's she's gonna be. What did she max out of here? 222, so she can get 80 on the plus. She can finish up at 1,300 for her 6 games. So that's a nice little 250. That's with a 160 game. take that 160 game and make it deuce. And something tells me she's probably an early leader in our women's classic division. This guy might be our leader in the Open Classic because it's not. He's got
one more shot for Matt Gason. He's on the front 8.
Yeah. So he can finish at 1364.
Oh, what a great shot! What a great shot!
Zeke Bates going to be in the 1400. He's going to be plus 200 and some for his 6 games.
Yeah, if you didn't see that, that was on lane 31 there.
Yeah, we'll get back
right
to
next to us. No, we got to stay with Matt, right? He's got the
we'll
front 8.
Yeah, we'll flip back and forth here. We have the technology. We have the capability to bounce around. So here we go. Bam! Here comes Zach Tackett. Then we'll get back. Kayla. Zach Tackett has a chance to get. Oh, had a chance to get to 1400.
Yeah, he stoned 9 in the 8. Then he comes in and tripped 4, leaves the 9. When you trip 4, you want to get the 9 out. I mean, you just feel robbed. You're like, man, I had to touch on it to get the 4 pin. I got to shoot the 9.
Yeah. Something tells me that Zeke Bates is going to pull a little check out of this event. It might not be the winner by the time it's all done, but going 200 over for 6, that's going to be a nice set in the Open Classic division.
No doubt about it.
And there you go.
He just throws it pure. Yeah, I'm going to have him sign my shoe on the way out of here.
We'll flag him down momentarily. Because I got an extra headset here, and I think Zeke can come up and talk to us.
Oh, man, Zeke could run me out of here. He'll tell you that he beat me in the Masters in Reno. He probably can't wait to tell you that. He probably got that dog on score sheet framed, that dog.
Do you still have the highest 3-game set at the Masters in history? You had 860, 857, 867. I can't remember the exact score. Just some unreal score.
I did have 857 once.
Yeah, 857. I think that was the highest ever for a 3-game set.
For a while, yeah. And, most every record is getting beat.
Right.
Anthony Simonson beat the record I set that one time where I guess it was the highest average ever in a Masters.
Yeah.
That was beat this year by Anthony. Yep. Congratulations, Anthony. Man, is he great. Is he great.
He is. 1437 for Zeke Bate for his
1430. That's good.
That's pretty good. Let's get back. We got Gasson stepping up, looking for the front 9. And he pures it. How about that?
Yeah, that was pretty smooth. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of bowling. That is great. Wow, that's such an awesome way. Right there on lane 30. Schlabach, just the way he goes about getting left in front of the ball return and wheeling on it, he steps backward like one real big spot, and then bam, bam, bam. And then it's perfect timing the way he does it.
Hey, just fresh off the lanes, we got him here. Just came off 27-28. Zeke Bate.
Hi.
Zeke plus 237 for the day.
Up, my man.
Nice to see you again, Zeke.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody how you suck.
Oh, yeah? I'm certain.
He was just afraid you were going to talk about you beating him in the Masters a couple of years ago, but that's a whole other story.
No, that was Zach.
Oh, that was Zach.
That was
Zach.
Okay, that was Zach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zeke, you never beat me in the Masters, right?
I've never faced you.
All right, well, so that you're the only one on the pair that has it.
So plus 237. What was the key out here today? Because this 42-foot LBC National pattern.
Don't tell them. Everybody's listening. They're going to do exactly what all you're doing is giving them a road map. So don't tell them.
It's okay. They can't repeat like I can. So.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fine.
I love it.
What was the big key then? Ball in hand, just mental outlook. What was the big key to
I think
success?
the pattern has some good shape to it, left to right. You definitely don't want to play too straight. Not a lot of give room to the left on the start. You have to kind of create it. The end pairs down there, all the way down there,
right?
Really, really tricky.
Yeah.
Hard to follow field migration. That's really sporadic down there.
Okay.
Just because the topography there is kind of weird anyway. But yeah, I thought it was. I grinded down there and had big games when I needed to. So that's kind of what it was. 230, probably going to get beat, but at the same time, that's good enough to cash in something.
Oh yeah, it should get a pretty decent size.
We hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you get any of the doubles or team?
Yeah, I
got things too.
I got in doubles with Zach.
Okay.
And we did. I think we went 1470 or something.
Okay,
but
so that's another nice set.
yeah, so we some high sets, and yeah, I'm happy. Can't complain. So
No, heck no.
how cool is that trophy though?
I tell you what, that's the best thing that could ever happen to me as far as being honored. I mean, wow.
I saw that trophy. I was like, that is unbelievably cool. So I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, my family gets to see that.
Yeah.
You know, you say, hey, Mom, well, look at this.
I hope they gave you a replica.
No.
No?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe one day.
But I get to see it every year, so.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for that. And by the way, I hope you can go get it.
Yeah, one of these
Go
years.
get you a Duke,
If
man.
not this year, yeah.
Yeah, I would want one if I was still bowling.
I definitely want one. I see that trophy.
Oh, hey, nice bowling today. And Zeke, we gonna see you at some regionals during the summer, or what's
Every single one I can hit.
Every single one you
yeah.
hit. Good.
All the big ones except for, I think the ones that are super out of the way for me I won't hit from Ohio.
Okay.
So, but I'll hit the Virginia regionals. I'll hit the Ohio regionals. I'll hit all that stuff. So.
All right. And speaking of hitting, Matt Gasson now on the front 10, so we'll get back to Matt.
Yes.
Thanks for sitting in with us, Zeke.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, nice to see you again. It's so much a pleasure watching you bowl.
There he is. The man seems to be the early leader in the clubhouse, but once again, the official scores will be posted at the PBA LBC tournament website, pba.com.
He used more bowling vernacular just now than you and I have since we started talking. He was all into field migration,
I know.
and I was like, dude, no wonder he's good.
He's
talking about stuff I don't even know about yet.
It's like a bowling scientist right there. You know, he's got his formulas going in his head. He probably sees the lane pattern in colors. And here we go, Gasson, front 11.
Oh, I tell you what, that's what you get when you're clean at the bottom. That was so purely clean. He trips the 4. That was a given. And then he gets that break off the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you know. That's when you know. Get it off my hand, and I get it.
And this is kind of cooler now because there's a lot of other pairs that are done. The bowlers are walking back to the tournament office.
Oh yeah, he's drawing a crowd here.
They're all stopping right here. I mean, that is a heck of a crowd they got going.
That's the first time I've seen a bar where everybody is faced away from it.
That's very true. Yes, even some phones going up right now. People trying to catch this moment for Matt Gasson. Is it the first perfect game of the LBC in 2023?
Well, there you go.
Couldn't have thrown it better. What a way to close out this block arm. He's the last
guy done, isn't he?
It's beautiful.
You know what? He probably stalled the whole way knowing, that's something.
He's making the moment.
That's something Pete would do, you know? Come on, Pete. Get up and throw. No, I'm just wait.
So you're here tonight yet?
I am.
For a little bit on the 7 o'clock squad. The bowlers, if they come down, fans, see you tomorrow here at the 2 o'clock squad. Are you here for that as well?
I'm here as well tomorrow.
Perfect.
Just as honored as I could be, and I'm so proud to be here at the first annual PBA LBC National Championships.
Yeah, nothing better. And PBA Hall of Famer Aaron Duke, thanks for sitting in the booth this block. It was a blast. Fans, tune in once again, 7 o'clock. We got everything going on. Once again, no commentary. There won't be a main feed. But, hey, we might see another 300. We'll see you at 7. Thanks, everybody.